Well, another panel, another week with this top-notch, highly distinguished panel, which I am super excited to introduce. And I'm not going to allow any other nonsense to take place today. All right, so, ladies and gents, y'all already know it's just Arthur. Nobody important over here. But we are joined right now by the doctor, okay? The one and only Miss PhD. I'm talking about Miss TaNeisha from @Really Flawed Football YouTube channel. For sure, make sure you're checking that out. And you see the gold trophy, don't you? Right over his shoulder. That means he's an Emmy award-winning producer for the WRAL Channel 5 down in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm talking about the one and only Mark Bergin, ladies and gents. You might catch him on your ski slope, man, anytime soon because he's a rock star. That's what you do when you have Emmys. So, super excited, super happy to have this group here today. And I know y'all are just ready to hop into this day, so let's just hop right into the first topic.
All right.
We're going to just hop right into the topic.
We want to introduce the one and only Arthur Moats, the 9-year NFL veteran, okay? He played on the Buffalo Bills, Pittsburgh Steelers, Arizona Cardinals. He also, if you don't know, has a book out that you should 100% purchase. Okay, the book is phenomenal, but the best part about this book, you get a bookmark, okay? Have you a bookmark? You get a bookmark with words on the back that mean things, okay? This is Arthur Moats, everybody. He is the responsible man behind the Arthur Moats experience. He is phenomenal. So thank you, Arthur Moats, for having us. And Mark, would you like to give us the fact about Arthur Moats that we all should know?
Yeah, TaNeisha, I didn't realize I have homework to do. And Arthur's bookmark is like the coffee table book that turns into a coffee table. That is well done, my friend. You can hear him share the airwaves with legendary KDKA anchor Bob Pompiani. He is the one and only Arthur Moats. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Arthur Moats experience.
Welcome everyone in. We're so happy that you're here.
We're supposed to be just hopping into this thing, okay? Nobody needs these introductions for myself, okay? This is about y'all, and this is about what we're here to talk about. What's the NFL Combine, all right? So I'm not going to allow y'all to just keep putting this back on me. Y'all make me getting hot and sweaty, and we're not even 5 minutes into this thing, all right? So I don't need this, all right? So now that we're here, we did have an NFL Combine that is still actually taking place as we are recording right now. But thus far, it's been a lot of information coming from the Combine. But I just want to initially just get your thoughts, your initial reactions to the Combine actually taking place this week. Man, what stood out to y'all? Start with the doctor.
Yeah. You know what? I'm like Debbie Downer over here. Nothing really shocked me. Nothing caught me by surprise. No, like, as I was watching, because I was ready with my notes, I wasn't feeling well. I was like, I don't care. Like I'm locked in, right? And I'm just kind of like, okay, I expected him to be fast. Oh yeah, I expected him to be freakishly athletic. Yeah, so it was like nothing really made me feel like walking away. Like the guys to me are still the same guys. So like for me, it was just nice to see. And then, my soul got filled today when I got to see my offensive lineman run. And I watched them run, and I was watching like this. And then they ran, and then I won't lie, I went on YouTube and I watched them run again. And so it was like the fix I needed to make myself feel better. So I'm just being honest.
Hey, but, Mark, just in case you don't know, TaNeisha like the big offensive lineman running. All right, the bigger they are, that's her speed right there.
I'm there for that. Okay. So yeah, no, I mean, ultimately, like my takeaways from just the Combine itself nothing really made me go, ooh, okay. I kind of was like, all right, this is kind of what I thought I saw this year. So that's just how I feel about it.
Big men running, little men hitting. TaNeisha, it's another example of that. What I would say is the speed stuck out to me of average 40-yard dashes by position group, fastest ever for defensive linemen, linebackers, DBs, tight ends, and running backs. This bodes well for Pittsburgh, considering the Steelers have 12 draft picks. I'm really excited to get into this with both of you as well, considering each team gets 45 interviews. To me, it's not even so much of who specifically the Steelers interviewed, more so than it is which position groups they really focused on. So I'm excited to talk about that. But to me, just overall, when we're talking about the Combine, and we'll talk about some of the standout performances here tonight, but it's the speed overall that I've seen with this group that really was the biggest thing that stuck out to me.
Man, let's go. I love when both of y'all are reading my mind. So trust me, we're about to talk about some of these interviews, because to me, I agree, that gives you a lot of information in terms of which direction we are leaning draft wise. When you started to see, man, it's 6 guys of this specific position group that they've talked to, or it's 4 of this group, and we're kind of like, no way they'll be interested in these guys, right? It's like, well, these are certain names that are up there that makes you, perk up a little bit. So in that space, man, absolutely, that jumped out. But the thing that really jumped out to me, it wasn't anything that took place in terms of guys running or testing or the interviews. Man, I'm working out, TaNeisha, because in my mind as the retired athlete, anytime games or events happen, my body is like, yo, you better get ready. So I'm in here training, I'm doing my thing, and I'm watching the D-line do some drills. And I see my man, Carl Dunbar. And I'm like, oh, that's Dunbar. Love Dunbar, man. Dunbar, that's the homie, man. You can't miss Dunbar, right? Big body, man. That's that dude, been here forever. And I looked at his shirt, and I was like, why does that say Jets on it, bro? and it hit me, and I was like, oh, that's right. We got new staff. And I ain't gonna lie, I was sad, bro. It hurt me. Then I see my man Mark drop the video with my man Ike T. Shout out to Swaggin University. Yeah. If you know, you know. And I'm like, yo, hold on now. What's going on? It really threw me off in that space, but it was still cool to see the familiar faces and just the reminders of, man, like, dude, that is the cool part about the combine. You'll see like a guy down there, or a legendary person running these drills that you don't even think of. But yeah, I don't know why, man. Just see a Carl Dunbar and that, I'm like, no. You're supposed to be black and gold, man. What is this?
It's weird.
Arthur, I was watching the combine at work on Friday. I had it in the background. You're listening to Rich Eisen's voice. And it's almost like watching
Tell me it
golf.
didn't feel amazing, right?
It was great. It was great. It just kind of relaxes me. So I text Ike. I'm like, hey, man, are you in Indy this year? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm working out the DBs on the field. Sure enough, I flip over to the NFL Network, and he's literally there walking them through all of the drills. So shout out Ike Taylor. Awesome to see that. Great to see him doing his thing, get boots on the ground experience as a scout for the black and gold for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But man, it was just like all of a sudden I'm just like, and I'm showing people at work like Arthur, I'm like, yeah, I podcasted with him for 5 years. Yeah, it's my dog.
It's weird. Yeah. You know what else is weird too is how many players, I don't know if they actually didn't know or acted like they didn't know that Coach Tomlin wasn't the coach of the Steelers anymore. like part of me was like, oh, they didn't know. They're working really hard. But then the other part of me was like, I don't know if I like that you acted like you didn't know, or I don't know. I thought that was an interesting approach that some of them took with that. I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird.
So I love that. And I did catch that as well. Shout out to the interviews, right? Or not even the interviews, the press conference type media stuff. But I was 50-50. And the reason I say that is this. When I was coming out, right, as busy and as hectic as this time of year is, right, when you're talking about you just ended your season, for some of these dudes, they played in the postseason, right, bowl games and stuff. Then you have your all-star game. We talked about your training, getting ready for the combine, and, you got a pro day coming up. Low-key, sometimes you don't always know who is the coach for what team, and if that coach is no longer there, because everything is a whirlwind. And some of these coaches that we are more familiar with just because we're covering it, man, this dude's in college that they're not watching it like that. They got so many other things that they literally would not know, that shifted. Now, some of these guys, yes, they're very attuned to it, but there are, I wouldn't be surprised if at least 50% that could be the case, just because you are so focused on, man, everything that's going on collegiately that not everybody looks NFL-wise. Heck, it was even times collegially that I couldn't even tell you some of the other like top prospects outside of my position group, or maybe like a Tim Tebow quarterback type, right? Just because once again, you're so week to week, you're so focused. So that was my only thing, but I definitely caught what you caught too. I was like, hey man, hey bro.
And but then you knew Mark McCarthy. Like, I'm just kind of like Mike McCarthy. Anyways, that was something.
Well,
sorry, Mark.
Arthur, you also have to consider the prospects will then fly to the teams to work out for the teams individually as well. So you have that component here in the coming weeks too. Speaking of the interviews, the one that stuck out to me, I love how one of the reporters asked Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love about America's team, and he goes, Who? And they're like, oh, well, the Dallas Cowboys. And he's like, no, I'm not having any of that. My dad was a Steelers fan. I don't know if Jeremiah Love's even going to be there at number 21, but running a 4.36 in the 40. He's
Insane.
the type of running back we need in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Boy,
I don't think he's going to be there at 21.
Well,
Man, look,
the other thing is too. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I like that they were like. He said something. He was like, I don't even like Miami. I love that. Like, show me that your competitiveness doesn't stop as soon as the season ends. You know, like live it, own it, do it. I love that I was like,
Was he saying that about the Dolphins?
no, he was saying about the Miami Hurricane.
Oh, got you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because the whole Notre Dame Miami thing,
Yes.
like getting into the playoffs, whatever. Like I
Remember,
love that. Show me that.
They replayed the game to make sure that they got in. It was
Yes.
like, hold on, just in case y'all forgot. Remember this game right here?
Yeah, show me that fire. I loved it. I loved it.
Did both of you notice this? And maybe we can use this as a way to backdoor into the conversation of, okay, the 4 quarterbacks that the Steelers interviewed. But I heard that the fans were booing Carson Beck. All the Hoosiers fans, they didn't forget what happened in the national title
love that
game.
too.
They just remember. They just started allowing fans into Lucas Oil Stadium to observe the on-field workouts for the combine. But the fact that they were booing Carson Beck, man,
that is different.
What a baptism by fire. Welcome to the NFL, Carson Beck, you know?
Well,
What was your welcome to the NFL moment?
Yeah.
When I say this
Sorry,
in
go
both
ahead,
spaces, right? No, because I mean, I love both of these because I was gonna first hit the Jeremiah Love part, right? So with Jeremiah Love,
Sure.
I also like the fact that he ain't forget either. Yeah, I like when you actually talk and have some confidence, show some personality, because that is one of the knocks, right? We say, man, guys get so caught up in being professional that we just give you the robot answer, right? I'm not gonna give you too far left, too far right. It's just here you go. But to see that, I do like it. And Mark, I am with you. That would be a perfect running back. Now, my only issue is, I'm hopeful that we were throwing the smoke screen. That if he is on our radar, we just didn't want everybody else to know that, and that's why we didn't, have that meeting with him. Because I'm like, it's Jeremiah Love. Now, Jeremiah Love, hey, bro. We know it's only a handful of backs every couple of years where we're like, all right, that one is worth it. He's one of those ones. So I'm with you on that. Shout out to the connection with the Steelers. Maybe we get him down the line. Now, the Carson Beck element, I think, is unique because of this. When we talk about this being a job interview, right? We talk about mentally everything that kind of comes into this thing. Having fans actually be able to give you crowd noise and boo in this setting, I am torn about that, honestly, man. I personally think that kind of crosses a little bit of a line, like me. Because I'm like, yeah, man, we're not talking about you already in the league and we're doing a game. This is like some of the intimate stuff, man, that goes on. And it's like, man, if you're going to be allowed the privilege to be here, we're not trying to have you influence one way or the other. Because, I mean, we can cheer or boo when they're coming out, but what happens when they start cheering a boo when he's about to throw, when he's about to run his 40? It's like, man, where do we draw that line? And so that's the only thing I'm just kind of like, I don't know, without trying to sound like the old get off my lawn guy. I'm just like, bro, this is a special place, man, a special rite of passage that not everybody even gets to be around.
I think it's interesting though, but it's like I always say, sometimes when you solve for one thing, you don't realize the other things you're disrupting. And that's one of them, right? You solve for one thing, you let the fans in, but now the fans have an opinion. So do you silence them? Do you create rules? But the thing I liked is, and I don't really care whether whatever, what I boo, no, but okay. I actually like seeing how Carson Beck responded to being booed. To me, that was more important.
Absolutely.
Than they could have booed, they could have chanted. I don't really care. I liked how I felt like he locked in a little bit differently. It was almost like these environments sometimes can seem very much like, woo, like whatever. I felt like that made him focus, and it made the guys around him rally around him. That is something that, again, those things that you can't teach, that you can't. And watching the other guys kind of notice what was going on, and then they felt like they needed to give him that extra like encouragement or that whatever. I loved that moment. And so it's like, if the booing had to happen for me to see like that Carson Beck and the people rally around, and I like that, because let's be real, if they didn't care about Carson Beck as quarterbacks, they would have been like, of course they're booing that guy. He's terrible. Like we don't like him either, but they didn't.
And the other part is this: everything's an evaluation. So as much as I'm with you on the purity of them, like rallying around him, the other side is, hey man, I could look like a good team. I could look like a good leader, because once again, everything is under evaluation. And that's the part where, like, I know you had said, yeah, man, sometimes you might get out there and you're just kind of going through the motions. Mark, you've been there, man. It's one of the most like heightened everything is like so to me it's like, man, to see, like you said, Beck handle it the way they did, to see the guys rally around him, that is beautiful. But once again, this is one of the most stressful things that any of these guys go through, like more than a pro day, more than the formal informal meetings. Like when you're on that field, that thing just feels different because this could make or break you right here.
I think TaNeisha's point about how he responded is spot on. And the reason why I think this is important is Fernando Mendoza's is the consensus QB1 of this draft. I think Ty Simpson is number 2. Then the conversation is who's quarterback 3? And that matters because the Steelers are a team that needs a quarterback. As it stands right now, we don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to decide to do. So if the Steelers are in for a quarterback, who's QB3? Beck is in that conversation. Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU is in that conversation. Drew Aller out of Penn State is also in that conversation. And so which of those quarterbacks really distinguishes himself as QB3 throughout this process in a quarterback class that's not all that talented, but quarterback's always a position of need in the NFL. It seems like there's always like at least 10 teams that need a quarterback. And so that to me is a big component of this. Just how I'm seeing it too, taking this just outside of Indy, is the injury concerns to Aller are really the biggest question I have of who quarterback 3 is. So then, okay, if it's between Nussmeier, who also played through like an oblique strain this last year, and then Beck for quarterback 3, they're really positioning themselves and jockeying themselves to try to get in that quarterback 3 slot. And especially the higher you get drafted, the more money you're going to be allocated towards your rookie deal. So that's how I'm looking at all of this and how all of this factors in. And I did like that we saw all the quarterbacks throw other than Mendoza. So it's like, that's something that we haven't gotten to see in previous years is, again, other than Mendoza, pretty much every other quarterback through, that's going to be guys that end up getting drafted. I thought that was nice to see for a change too. Just again, considering that there's not that top end elite level quarterback as we've seen in previous drafts.
Well, and on top of that too, sticking with the quarterbacks, we know that we had four formal interviews with quarterbacks, right? Ty Simpson, we know that's out of Bama, Drew Aller, obviously out of Penn State, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU, and Carson Beck, who we've been talking about out of Miami. Hearing you, Mark, kind of lay out, man, at least how people are talking about these guys, knowing that these were the 4 that we specifically met with. How do we feel about that group? Because clearly they are, in terms of the Steelers, they have interest in these guys if they're going to at least take that next step of the formal interviews with them.
Here's where I'm at. Let me hop in really quickly. Again, Drew Aller out of Penn State played in 6 games because of a knee injury. So coming off a knee injury, he never quite lived up to it at Penn State. And if he did, James Franklin would still be employed. I feel the same way about Nussmeier. And I know he was battling through some injuries this last year, but he, going into the year, was going to be one of the top picks. And guess what? Brian Kelly is no longer the LSU head coach. So that leaves you with Carson Beck, who spent a lot of time at Georgia before transferring to Miami this last year. If it were an easy pick to go with, we'd know the answer. But like, just considering how the season's played out, I think Beck would maybe be the number 3, but I'd be willing to hear arguments about the other 2. I know coaching's a big component of that, but that's just kind of how I foresee that, of like 2 of the 3 quarterbacks that you're talking about in that conversation, their coaches got fired. Now, if Simpson's still there at 21, I think that's going to start to become part of the conversation is, where does Pittsburgh go with the 21st pick? But is that too high for Simpson, the quarterback out of Alabama as well? That's kind of how I see this from the jump. TaNeisha, hop in here.
Well, this is the point in the season where they are now no longer college athletes, so I get to talk about them how I want to talk about them because they are now professionals. No, and no. It's just a no for me. I watched them all at the beginning of the season. I watched them all at the middle of the season. And then towards the end of the season, I was just like, what happened? I mean, I'm not impressed by any of these 4. Nowhere. I'm good. I I would love to sit here and come up with all the reasons why I think it's a great idea. My thing is when I watched Will Howard last year at the combine, I at least thought, oh, okay, I can kind of see some things. Oh, okay. I could kind of see it. I didn't get that feeling when I was watching these guys. When I was watching these guys, I was comparing them to Will Howard. I was like, how do these guys look to me compared to Will Howard? I don't know. I just don't see it. I'm not on, I can't right now. I'm just not a fan of these four. I do like that they talk to them. Maybe in the conversation they had great things to say. Maybe maybe they work hard, all those things. Right now, today, I just can't. I just can't.
I can dig it. Shoot, for me, man, I look at it like this. Optimism around a lot of them, just in the simple fact that, man, there are so many variables that go into a player transitioning professionally. If it was just, man, did you shine in college? Did your coach, look good? Did the team win? Did you have great numbers collegiately? And that's going to translate to professional. Man, the draft would be so much easier getting quarterbacks, right? If it was, hey, man, you have intangibles, but on field with the team, man, maybe the usage, maybe the players around you personnel didn't reflect. So that's why, right? Then once again, it would be easy. But we've seen the flip side where that's not always the case. So with this, it's like, man, can a guy get better? That's my first thing. Can a guy get better? Yes. So as I look at them right now, are any of these dudes surefire starters? Are any of these dudes guaranteed to be the guy day one? Probably not, right? Just as we say here today. But as I look at him, I'm like, man, okay, one dude has an arm. All right, this guy has athleticism. Heck, man, when we talk Carson Beck, I'm like, Carson Beck has been ridiculed and criticized since Georgia. And all the dude does is what? Stare with them, chill eyes, and show up and sling the football and take his team that nobody really expected Miami to go to the Natty, right? And then take them all the way there. And it's like, dang, all right. To me, that counts for something. Because same way we're going to talk about the adversity, we're going to talk about their shortcomings. I look and I say, well, hey, if we know you got these deficiencies, how do you overcome them to even get you to where the Steelers would meet with you? Because clearly, if the Steelers are meeting with them, it's like, man, there are a ton of quarterbacks floating around here, man. We have to meet with these dudes. So I'm like, what is it about them? And as I look at each of them, the one thing that I would say they all had in common was this. Prior to this season, they all had high draft grades. That was part of why this class was supposed to be so good. Now, we know as the season went on, their production did not reflect that. And that's why we kind of look, but it was for various reasons. We talk about Drew Allard, man. It's like, oh, you snapped your ankle, bro. Now, could you have played better? Yes, both things can be true. We talk about Garrett. It was like, yeah, LSU had a lot of stuff kind of going on down there, right? Ty Simpson. So it's like when we start looking at these things and I'm like, I just don't, I guess for me, I don't have a hard, close the door on them because I do see certain things that I think that they all could present that in a competition with Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. I don't look at Will Howard and Mason Rudolph as just levels above these dudes because why would I? I mean, I know that they've done certain things at this, well, not Will Howard. I know that Mason Rudolph has at least done certain things at this level, but to act as if, man, in a full training camp setting and y'all competing against them with equal reps, Will and Mason are just that much proven. I could be the one that's completely foolish there. I just don't see it like that. That's me personally, though.
Yeah. It's just a no for me.
Yeah.
I think too, for me, it's hard because I started off in the summer. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pay close attention to all these guys, all the quarterbacks, not just these four, but all of them. And I just all year I kept, and I have my little notes during the season, and I'm just kept looking at them, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see it this game, and it just never quite anything for me. And also, I could not be a very good judge of quarterbacks. I'm totally okay with that, but for me, I'm just like, no, just no. And again, it is March 1st. They still have a ton of more time, ton of more workouts, a ton of more whatever, and that's fine. And yes, I think these guys will be amazing in the NFL. I don't really know. I'm just saying how I think and feel. And I think also for context for me, when I'm having this conversation, I don't want to take any of them in rounds 1 or 2. Now, if you say to me, okay, well, what do you think about round 3? Maybe it's a little bit different. I just feel like there's other people that pop more to me in those earlier rounds, where if you say to me, okay, Ty Simpson is still available in round 3, are you a yes? Okay, I might be a yes, right? I'm just definitely not a yes round 1 or 2 as of today. I don't know. Just watching them throw too. I was just like, anyways, no.
Arthur,
We're gonna
TaNeisha,
get here.
did either of you ever watch the great show American Idol back in the day?
Oh, come on now, yeah.
TaNeisha is a lot like the great Randy Jackson.
Yep.
That's a
You
no
see her.
for me, dog.
Yep.
Can't do it. Yeah. And I want to be so wrong. Let the record reflect.
Of course.
I want to have this so wrong and we go get the guy and he's the next whoever we want him to be, because our expectations is basically like Dan Marino, Patrick Mahomes, mixed in with a little Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Like, I get our expectations are so high. So I hope that I'm looking at this so wrong. But man, and I said, like, I'm going to be watching them with one eye open, one eye closed, and no, I actually was like, okay, guys, like, somebody prove to me something. I was like, all right.
I think Simpson's going to go to the first round, even if it is a bit of a reach because of the need for quarterback talent in the NFL. And
I mean, we've seen as a whole, which positions matter more.
TaNeisha, here's another thing, too, is he led the country in completions, 305, but 473 pass attempts. I never remember an Alabama team throwing and relying on the passing game as much as they did with Simpson. No,
this is new Bama, though. This is new Bama. That's not old. It's new Bama.
I know.
That's the other part of this, right? Where now let's go to like my college football takes.
Yeah.
Penn State, their coach got fired. I think the way he was running that offense was atrocious. Carson Beck was at Miami. Even though Miami was in the championship game, I made videos constantly every week. And I was like, the way this offensive coordinator is calling plays, I don't think it's conducive for this offense. Therefore, it impacts the way the quarterback can play football. That's just how this goes. I could say the same thing for LSU and Bama. I don't even think they remembered they could run the ball because they just chose not to call run plays, which obviously that impacted Ty Simpson as well. So that's why for me, it's like, could I, maybe, but it's like just watching them out there. And again, the goal is you can go to the NFL, things change, right? The coaches are supposed to be better and smarter, and we're not going to do things we shouldn't do. Is that always true? So it's kind of like, but yeah, I think if I looked at this list though, and I think who had it the worst, just based off of the year and where I think, I don't want to say coaching malpractice, but whatever, it'd probably be Nussmeier and Simpson, because just the way things happened throughout the season, it was just like everyone was starting to question why you guys aren't doing certain things more. Like, why aren't you running?
How would you rank these four? Hold on. How would you rank these four right here, TaNeisha?
If I had to rank
Garrett,
them,
and Carson,
I would probably do Ty Simpson, Garrett, Beck, and Drew. That's probably how I would rank them.
Now, why you got Ty Simpson at the top, though?
Because I think he had the biggest malpractice with the way that they were running things. I mean, their lack of running the football all season, your quarterback is not going to play well if you just are not running the legitimately just not running the football. And I think that impacted him. And there are things I do like about him. It's not that I think he's like the worst guy ever. I was going to name somebody else. It's not like I think he sucks. That's not what I'm saying. I just feel like when I'm looking at them, I'm just not quite sure what I'm going to get from them, because I just don't know. And I don't get to interview them and, break down film with them and sit in a room and see how they talk.
The biggest reason I ask is because I hear how Fernando Mendoza is the consensus #1 overall.
I don't know if I believe that.
I'm trying to figure out what is the difference between Mendoza versus these guys. Outside of Mendoza, played for Indiana. And that's why when I bring up Carson Beck, it's like, what am I exactly missing here? And I hear you, and I'm like, all right. But if you're saying this about these guys, then why is Mendoza revered up here? And these guys are like, hey, man, 3rd round best. I'm like, what am I missing? Because there's no way Mendoza is that far ahead of these guys talent-wise.
I 100% have never said and will never say I think he's that much better talent-wise. Absolutely not. I think the knock on Carson Beck, though, was all the games that his team lost usually ended with his interception. And you can, I think one game had
they got him the one time. I remember they got him the one time with the legit dude, I beat your head off of me. Like, yo, that ain't me.
Yeah.
It was like, well, no, you need to take credit of the coach. He was like, hey, bro, You know, I hate you, Spiders, man.
And so there's also some behind the scenes stuff about Carson Beck and his ability to be a teammate and all those different things. And so that shows up, and the reason why he lost Georgia, like all of those things kind of pop up. And then with Nussmeier, he lost his starting spot. So that's another thing where it's kind of like, what happened there? And then Drew got hurt. So yeah, I don't even know, what do you even put that? I don't even know how to quantify that. So for me, like, I get it. And I haven't now or ever pounded the table for Mendoza either. So I just need to call that out because
I've see how they talk about him though, right? He's like, oh, Mendoza's consistent. I'm like, what am I missing? I feel like I'm looking. It's like, yeah, for him to be one overall, and the other one's like, yeah.
And I think they're looking at his improvement from being at Cal to going to Indiana. And granted, he was in a better offense, like just a better system. Like the coach does things that make sense. Like it's very, sounds basic, but it's very important things.
They don't forget to run the football. That's what I think it is.
and they're, I think they ran like 46 times or something like that in the national championship game. That helps a quarterback. And that's why for me, it's like, I could have this all wrong. It's just the way they were played with their teams. It's like football 101. How do you help your quarterback? You run the football. I mean, like that's simple. But these teams didn't do it. So again, that's why I'm kind of like, I don't really know. But anyways, I've overtalked my time. So
all right, Mark, my man, on you, Mark, man, how you ranking these dudes, man? We obviously got Simpson, Drew Allard, Garrett Nussmeier, and good old Carson Beck.
I would rank them the same way, TaNeisha. I might flip Beck and Nussmeier. I think they're pretty much 2A, 2B in those four. With Simpson, I look at the receiver talent he had with Ryan Williams, who will be one of the top picks a year from now, and then Bernard on the outside's pretty good. Brooks is also a good young player for Alabama. But when was the last time you heard of an Alabama Crimson Tide team average 3.4 yards per carry as a team for the entire season?
Yep.
That is insane. Like, I know that this isn't Nick Saban's Alabama anymore. I understand that. 3.4 yards per carry, Alabama? The caliber of recruits that they can get over everybody else in the land?
But Mark, they say your team reflects your coach, man. Saban is going to run that ball, destroy you in the trenches. He wants that. So it's a little bit different age right now, man. All right? It's a little bit more pass friendly, okay? We try to sling that rock down there in Bama right now, man.
I'm with you with Mendoza in this regard. There's some stats out there saying the best numbers he put out was against much inferior competition versus against the best of the best teams. He didn't perform all of that well. I think it's a case of Raiders need a quarterback. They've got the top pick. Who's the top quarterback? Yep. It's Mendoza.
Yeah.
But
and
like
what I wonder is more than these other positions right now, unfortunately.
What I wonder is where does Mendoza rank as a quarterback compared to previous draft classes in other quarterbacks we've seen in terms of when they were coming out? I'm not talking about what they've developed into after year one,
the past
year
three
two.
Draft classes, if Mendoza was coming out with last year's class, the year before that, is he still the consensus number one overall?
No.
Absolutely not.
I was to say, none of us are saying yes to that, man.
Because there's nothing he does that's like generational, impressive, spectacular.
Hang on, TaNeisha, I will. Let me interrupt you really quickly here. What he does heck of like a Kirk Cousins impersonation. If you were to turn back the clock, he does that very well.
Oh my Lord, yes.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I think Kirk Cousins is a great kind of symbol for him. And again, who of us would say Kirk Cousins is in our top 10 of starting quarterbacks in the last 5 years? Like, I don't think anybody would. But and it's funny because this is like talking about like $200,000 and $210,000. He's still going to be in the NFL. He's still going to have his time. He's still going to do like I think sometimes whenever we talk about like NFL things, it's like we're not saying any of these guys suck. Like we're not. That's not the measurable here. Like we're saying they're NFL talent. We're just trying to figure out where to place them, where we rank them, where where
Well,
they
and-
should be. I just want
And to
add
piggyback
that.
on that too, it's like, it's not just that. It's when we're talking about the draft, now we're slotting talent and saying this talent equates to this value.
Correct.
And that's where we really got to, kind of nitpick, because if I'm drafting one of these guys in the first round, the expectation isn't, hey man, in 4 years, be the guy. In 4 years, develop into somebody just cool. No. If
Yeah.
you're a first rounder, we're expecting results this year. Heck, we expect results honestly in that first month. Otherwise, we're looking at you with question marks. So that's the conversation we're talking about. Any of these players, it's like, man, the value that I need for a first rounder, I need that guy to come in and be a force multiplier. We talk about Derek Carr, we talk about Troy Fontana, we talk about Broderick Jones, right? We go down the list of first round caliber players and their impact. So it's not like we're, saying that these guys are bad players, like which you've done a great job of laying out. It's just that, when we're comparing them to the slot of pick 21 or the slot of pick 4th round, the way that we're going to view them, that's part of why Kirk Cousins, for the majority of his career, was viewed as, man, an overachiever, because he was a 4th rounder. If he was a first rounder, no, we're looking at him the same. We look at him now with that contract, like, hey, bro, I don't know about Kirk right now, bro. Y'all think this is a little trippy. I don't want that one. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I just like to call that out, because I think some people that aren't used to NFL conversations feel like we're not saying anyone sucks. If you make it to the combine, you don't suck. Let me just I just want to let that be known. We're talking about value and where they should go when they get to the NFL, not because they suck. I just want to make sure that I identify that, because sometimes people don't understand they don't suck at all.
A group that for sure didn't suck, at least in the speed department, and we actually had a lot of interest in this group, was wide receivers.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Holy
I was so
cow. Man, it was you want a 4-3? You want a 4-3? How would you get a 4-2? I like, wee. Mark, talk to me, man. What was your thoughts on this speed demon group, man?
I could focus on the track speed. I could focus on that. What I'm going to focus is a little bit Aki, but let me explain myself. Okay. I'm going glass half empty here. But Carnell Tate out of Ohio State running a 4.5, and you're like, cool, is that a little bit slow? Could that bump him? I don't care. That's who I would love to have with the 21st pick.
I loved it.
If he falls, because if he didn't run a yeah. But I wonder if that costs him any draft positioning. And here's the thing is, I don't really care, because look at what Puka Nacua ran a few years ago, and he was still fluid in the gauntlet drill with the ball actually in his hands. Now, I know Puka Nacua wasn't projected to be a first-round pick, but I'm viewing this as like, could he potentially fall to Pittsburgh? And if he's already gone off the board, there's still a lot of other really talented players that can fly. Goes back to my point about the speed off the top. But that was the first thing in my mind where it's like, could he fall to 21? Or if you're Pittsburgh, you've got 12 draft picks, you've got 3 third-round picks. Could you say, hey, this is a player who could really help our team at the receiver position? Could you maybe trade up a few slots if he slides even just a little bit, say out of the top 10, to go get a player who will really help this offense? It will be that force multiplier that you're talking about, Arthur. That's the way I see it. But that's what I saw, because considering he didn't run as fast as some of his other peers in the 40-yard dash. But I'll end there.
As soon as I saw that, Mark, I thought about our conversation last week where we're like, what matters most? Like the film that you've seen him put on, you've seen it, or the experience in the combine. Like, he is going to be a great case study to see, did it matter? Are people going to back off of him? We'll know pretty soon. You'll start to see the stories, right? You'll start to see people come out and have their opinions. But I'm just like, you know what? This is the Steelers. I trust you all. Do what you think you do. Get whoever you think it is. Like, I didn't think there was a bad option. I was just kind of watching, and I was like, whatever direction we take this, I'm on board. Sign me up. Like, it was, and I've never felt that way. Usually in position groups, I'm like, okay, let's really focus here. I was really excited to see all of them run. And I even watched them, some of the drills, some of them look a little bit more fluid than others. But again, they looked exactly how I saw them play, which always matters to me. Like, I want to take your playing thing from what I kind of remember and place you in a situation. I want you to look the exact same. I felt that way. And so that made me really excited. I was shocked that Tate didn't run that fast because he looks and he plays way faster. And he plays really physical too. That's not going to show up in anything. But yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, okay. Like we might be cooking here with some of these receivers. I was just excited.
Arthur, what type of truck do you want? A dually truck? Do you want a Bugatti? Do you want a Maserati? Where do you want to go, Arthur? Because I mean, we need somebody. We need that receiver too here in Pittsburgh.
Well,
what do you got?
You look at the list, man. Well, we met formally with 8 receivers, and they vary in size and speed, right? Some of these dudes, you talk about a Carson Beck, you talk about a Denzel Boston, right? Bigger bodies. Then you talk about a Casey Concepcion, right? We talk about a Mekhi Lemon, a little bit on the shorter side. But you can see where either side of this thing, with Mike McCarthy specifically, right? Because once again, offensive-minded guy, right? Knowing that he likes to have some weapons on him. Who doesn't want some weapons? And we saw what he could do with some weapons in Dallas. You're like, okay, all right, I like this flavor. To me, man, I was open to any of it, man. I think the couple of things that kind of stood out to me, the Cardinal Tate thing, I have zero concern with because you ran 4.54 on the laser. We said on the laser, we know you're 4.48 worst case. You can go run hand time pro day if you want to. It's going to say 4.47, and that's going to put that to rest, right? But yeah, I get the whole initial, hey man, 4.54, what the heck is this? Anybody that's read that laser, you know exactly what that is. You're like, yeah, that's plenty fast. All right, he's plenty fast. So I'm not concerned about him, man. And I do agree also, TaNeisha, a lot of them looked very similar to what they looked like in these games. And that's not always the case, right? You look at some of the bigger body dudes or some of the LBs, it's like, man, you've never fallen down. You look a little unathletic in some of this space right here. Or, man, you look a lot faster, a lot more nimble than you do when we're cutting that tape off. What's going on here, man? So that part was refreshing. But with these receivers, it's like, man, I don't personally feel like we can go wrong either way. I think if we're talking first round pick 21, I would prefer a little bit more size. But to act like one of these 5'11s can't cook also, it's like, no, I don't feel like that. But obviously because the one that really stood out was Mekhi Lemon, right? And the reason, for a couple of reasons, right? First off, the interview. The press conference, bro. I was like, shout out to the press conference.
I was I've been trying to make sense of it since I saw it.
Bro, take it out, bro.
What actually happened there, bro?
Arthur, explain to everyone what
in there. I don't know. It was a lot going on with it. Yeah.
Arthur, explain for people that hadn't seen that, Arthur, if you can explain to a listener or viewers what happened.
So he was on the big stage platform where, certain players, we get a chance to go up and hold a press conference style interview with multiple media outlets. And, they ask you different questions for, a varying range. And the facial expressions, the eye contact, the overall body mannerisms, it was a little unique in the approach. Like if you're visually looking at it, it was like, man, I don't know which signal you were necessarily going for. Confidence could be one. Some ambiguity could also be in there. But either way, it was like, yo, I went and I had to go watch him because I'm like, I hadn't watched him like that. So I'm like, let me go just cut his tape on. And when they were saying, man, he got some Amon-Ra St. Brown to his game, and I'm watching, I'm like, I see this. Okay. I get the little toughness. I see what's going on here. But as a whole, man, I think he's growing on me, man, because him and of course, I can't make this up. We literally talked about him on the mock draft. TaNeisha, you was like, yo, I just talking to the little dude. And Mark was like, he was at NC State before here. And then they get to talking and they are trying to make fun of him because of how he speaks, right? The speech impediment. And they're like, yo, he's from Rochester, New York. And it instantly had me thinking about one of my former teammates when I was at Buffalo, also had a stuttering problem, right? A guy named Ellis Langston out of West Virginia University. And it was just cool because I'm like, yo, like, the competitors, we rally around the dudes that people kind of like give a hard time to. And that's why even with the Carson Beck stuff, it's like, y'all give him a hard time. A lot of fans, a lot of media give him a hard time. Dudes rally around that because it's like, yo, I rock with you. Anybody can talk smack. Who can stand up to it? Who can keep going forward in it? And Casey, I was just like, yo, Casey and McCall, like, man, y'all were in a little bit of the hot zone this weekend, man. But I like them, man. So, and granted, they both a little smaller, but I like them though. All right. So here we are.
Yeah.
Can we talk about another little guy who is a little bit polarizing, but I actually really liked his Zach Branch out of Georgia.
Come on,
5'9", 177, but it's the elite quickness, and he's got good route running ability too. A 4.3, 5.40, and a 1.5 second 10-yard split. If you're going to be that small, you have to be that explosive too.
I love him. I just hate the fact that y'all keep saying Georgia. That's my USC guy, okay? I don't care. I'm like, yeah, baby.
My bad.
Been on him since then. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I love that one right there. But he's another little fella too, though. He's for sure little.
I think Amari Cooper is 6 foot, actually. He's like my sleeper, mainly because every time his team needed a play in a big game.
My bad.
Amari Cooper Jr.
Oh, okay.
The guy from Indiana.
Yeah, I need to talk about. Yeah.
Every time his team needed a play, he got them the play. Whether it was Penn State, national championship game against Ohio State, and the way that he was able to communicate and have that feeling with Mendoza. I like when my receivers can have that, whatever that is, with their quarterbacks. I love that relationship. I love whatever it is. I'll call it a relationship. It's probably deeper than that, but. So I like seeing him perform. I like seeing him perform too, then on the big stage, and just to watch him move. And like I said, I mean, the receiver group, I walked away going, you know what? Whatever the Steelers think, whoever talks the best, whoever makes them, gives them that feeling, whatever it is, yes, absolutely great pick. Yes. Thank you. I love it. That's how great I thought that group performed. Yes, absolutely. Sign me up for them. Any of them. I don't care.
Look, shout out to them, man. And look, and I don't know, maybe they don't like the 6 foot receiver because they didn't want to meet with Omar. They wanted to meet with the other boy, Elijah. All right. They said, man, give me that 6'2" and up. All right. That's the group that we like, but across the board. Can you go wrong with any of these? I'm like, yo, this is a talented group right here.
And I think that was was that the largest group of people the Steelers talked to was the receivers?
8 of those guys out of that group. Yes.
So again,
and then the next biggest was defensive backs. Yep.
We're doing this right. We're
I think they were
right where we're supposed to be.
I think there were 8 corners. I think there were 8 corners. I think there's I mean, receiver and defensive backs were the most for Pittsburgh, but
So anyways,
for what we know, it's hard to go through all the different reports that are out there, but sorry.
Ain't that the truth? It's like, man, all right, these are the formal confirmed. Okay, did anything else pop up under there? But wide receivers were the most, then it was DB second most, and then quarterbacks. Yeah, shout out to quarterbacks, right? Jeez Louise, man.
And can I just say, the least amount of people we talked to was offensive linemen, which I found that to be very interesting.
Well,
I was
hang on. TaNeisha, if we've drafted offensive tackles in back-to-back drafts,
no,
Mark, not just offensive tackles. We got a center and a guard in there too with Frazier and McCormick.
But I'm talking the first round picks. But I'm with you. But
my point is, though, is if you listen to this fan base, it is it's atrocious. We don't know what we're doing. Whatever. So my point is maybe we're just doing something here that makes a lot of sense.
I love the Yinzers. But
they're tripping. Everybody's tripping. You know why? Because we didn't talk to enough linebackers, okay? The fact that we only talked to a handful of, what are we doing? Okay? We need linebackers. We can never have enough linebackers. Inside, outside, don't matter, man. We want linebackers. It's the Steelers. We also take a linebacker in the first round. Everybody knows this is what we do. First 2 rounds, I need a linebacker, okay? I get it. CJ Allen and Jack Golday. I get it, all right? But I need more, okay? Give me some more targets in there. Pretty please.
Arthur wants to see Red Murdoch, the linebacker out of Buffalo, who's making a name for himself at the combine. Maybe one of the Ohio State boys, but the Buffalo boy, Red Murdoch. Don't forget the name. In all seriousness, it's cool to see someone from a small school become an All-American and then get showcased in an event like the NFL Combine. That's what it's all about. So shout out to him. And Arthur, I'm with you with the linebackers. It's almost like the same thing with pass rushers. And TaNeisha, to your point about line, you can never have enough of them. So I'm with you.
The other thing is too is Mr. Caleb Downs didn't test as well as people thought he was going to. So him and Tate, his teammate, I'm very curious to see what that means. Because again, if you watch film and you watch them play, right, there shouldn't be anything to worry about. But I mean, are the Steelers going to get a gift at 21? Like,
TaNeisha, I'm trying to figure out how or where they trained at, because you look at some of these other Ohio State performers, you're like, bro, where were y'all training at, man? Like,
Lorenzo Styles,
what?
4.27.
They were moving. Like,
the Ohio State boys, I'm like,
where are y'all going?
Yeah, like, wow.
Yeah,
it was like, yeah, his tip isn't even hot like that. I'm like,
hey,
it doesn't even matter. Okay, this testing, this is what we're talking about right here. Okay,
I'll tell both of you this right now, and I felt this way a few years ago. When I went 2 years ago, I felt this about the Texas and the LSU recruits coming out. We're just wrapping up Winter Olympics, right? We'll have Summer Olympics in LA here in 2 years. Somehow, Team USA didn't win the 4x100 the last time we performed in the Olympics. If football doesn't work out for some of these athletes, let's get them on our track and field team, because these dudes can fly.
Every Texas Tech, you be like, bro, what are they feeding y'all? All right, and all y'all are massively sized too.
That's and like, okay, I don't want to go on the soapbox, so I'm just gonna say this is why when I make my college football videos, I say, like, some of these teams aren't playing the same. Like, these aren't the same athletes. Okay, some of them they're all linebackers. I'll give you that. But a linebacker at LSU, we just saw it, is not doing the same things a linebacker at New Mexico is doing. It's not the same, and it's like it's so obvious. I mean, if you watched two people run and you watch somebody super fast and somebody not super fast, immediately you would walk away and be like, these aren't the same type of athletes. Like,
and then throw 50 pounds more on the guy that ran really fast. You're like, bro, that really doesn't make sense.
Those linebackers,
nothing about that makes sense.
I was like this. Wow. Oh wow. I mean, yeah. And the running backs too. Wasn't the running back group the fastest running back group ever? I mean, just some of the athleticism is insane that you're like, wait, how fast was that? Okay.
There's
Mark.
3 other players I want to mention, but we're talking about athletic freaks of, okay, who won the combine? The 2 tight ends, Oregon's tight end who broke the 40 record for tight ends, Kenyon Sadiq, 4.39 as a tight end. And then Vandy's Eli Stowers, 45.5-inch vertical jump, 11'3" broad jump, 2 modern combine records, and they're tight ends.
Nuts, man.
What?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Those were 2, and then was it the Arkansas quarterback, Talon Green? We were freaking out a few years ago about what Anthony Richardson can do, and he has a higher vertical leap than Anthony Richardson. Ran a 4.3 something in the 40, and it's like, I get that he'll be a project at the quarterback position, but has the athletic measurables, and he still wants to play quarterback. He doesn't want to switch positions. I don't fault him for that. If he could go somewhere where you could develop him for a year or 2 and then see what he's got, his athletic ability is as impressive as any prospect in this entire draft. So it's like, those were 3 guys where we'll see what they do as football players, but at least in terms of their athleticism, exactly what we're talking about here in this in this conversation of just elite level athleticism.
Yeah. First off, shout out to Kenyon. Oh, okay. Go
ahead, TaNeisha.
I just wanted to see Green with a good offensive line. Like, it would be interesting to see what he looked like with an offensive line ever, because bless his heart, like if he goes to a contender or somebody that's kind of a little bit more stable, it'll be interesting to see how he's able to develop behind, when the spotlight's not on you anymore. You're just kind of there doing your thing and building. But anyways, go ahead, Moats.
Oh no, man! I was just piggybacking on y'all when y'all was highlighting some of them dudes. I was like, yeah, with Kenyon Sadiq, I'm like, yo, elite speed. But I was a little bit upset because he did break my homie's 40 combine record. All right, Doran Dixon had that 4.40. That was my former team at the Buffalo. Actually, our kids play baseball together. I shout out to the home. But yeah, man, I was a little bit upset. I was like, no, not my guy. No, not that one, man. Modern era, all right? But I guess all records are meant to be broken in some capacity, so shout out. But speaking of athleticism, TaNeisha, you brought up a quarterback. How you not going to talk about Diego hitting the backflip in the end zone, man? We have flips. Did you not see the flips? Listen, man, that's athleticism, right? We got a quarterback hit a backflip. Anthony Richardson got drafted in the first round because he can hit backflips, okay? Backflips matter. I don't know if you saw this. He hit backflip, all right?
Why do you think I wanted Jeremiah Love, Arthur?
Come
Why
on,
do you think I let out this conversation?
Come on,
he
man.
was doing
All
the
right.
backflip for the running back group.
You see it. The backflip,
Jeremiah
man. That's the
Love,
secret.
Like, oh gosh. Man, I don't know. I mean, we have so many draft picks. There's so many interesting things that could happen if they just pulled the trigger with, you know, I don't know what the options are, but man, there's just so many guys that I'm like, oh yeah, he would be a nice ad. Like Jeremiah Love, like, are you kidding? Like Jeremiah Love, give me one of these receivers. Like, I don't know. There's parts of this where you're just like, come on, Steelers. But I do want to mention, did we talk to Pons from Indiana?
Mm-hmm. Don't hit me with the from Indiana. That's crazy. That's so crazy. You said that from Indiana. That's
where'd he
nuts.
go? JMU?
James Madison University is where he went, along with Elijah Surratt. Come on, man. Don't do me like that, TaNeisha. That's crazy.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I am. You know what? I'm sorry,
Us
Steelers
small
legend.
school guys matter, okay? We
You're right,
you know,
Steelers legend.
We take a look.
And the
I
small
ain't
school
say all that.
guy,
Don't do all that.
Steelers legend, got 16.5 sacks in the NFL in his entire career. So my bad. Okay, I messed that one up.
See how you say all that? All right.
Something in his frame. Okay, he's on the smaller side. It's no secret. But man, his this is gonna sound terrible because I'm a woman. The way his body moves, he's like so fluid. Like watching him just like turn himself and work himself back and have all of that body control, and watching him go through drills, I was just like, what? It's like watching somebody just dance. That's what it felt like. I'm like, this looks so good. And it's like those things though, where it's like, okay, does size matter, or does it come down to what your production and what you can do on the field? Because is he on the smaller side? Absolutely. Or is he going to have limitations because of that? Absolutely. And also, I watched him all season long battle the best of the best, literally the best of the best, and rose to the occasion every game. And so I think he's going to be another interesting one that's like, you know, the Steelers, we're all about heart and grit and determination and all of those things. D'Angelo Pons is literally that. Okay. Like that is who he is. And then there was, I don't know if you guys saw the video where some random guy was like, all right, well, guard me, like show me, like, you know, they were just whatever. I think they knew him or whatever. It was just like a fun video. But even just watching him in like a fun video, he still has the same technique. That matters to me because you're just not technical when you're on the field. Like everything you do is just very technical. And I love players like that. I don't know where he's going to go and what's going to happen, but I love players like that. Like something about him, I just love it. I love it. I don't know what that means or where he's going to be, but gosh, that attitude.
He'll be an interesting case study in the sense of this, right? When we talk corners, outside corners, man, some people believe that NFL wise, man, you need to be 6 foot or taller to play out there. Others feel like you can play, you know, under that size if you're very special and talented. That's the argument, right? And you hear it a lot, man. I think prime Deion Sanders said it at one point. Everybody lost their mind, but it's like, man, Nick Saban said it as well. Like certain coaches, that's just how they feel, because at this level, the question is this: not is D'Angelo Pons a good player? Can he play corner in the NFL? The question is, if he's playing on the outside, can he jump with George Pickens? Can he jump with DK Metcalf? Right? Those are some of the questions, and that's why it's like, man, if you're not going to have him on the outside, then the value isn't as high if he's going to be bumping in there to that slot, or at least that's how it's communicated draft-wise, right? But that's going to be the one where it's like, man, you look at his tape and you've seen him match up versus, like you said, some of the best of the best. I remember watching him versus Ohio State, and I'm saying to myself, dude, a year or 2 years ago, I'm watching you guard the cat from Appalachian State. Right now, you're going to go Jeremiah Smith. It's like, holy smokes, like, you doing your thing though, right? And that was the cool part with D'Angelo. But the question legitimately still will remain: can he hold up like that week in and week out versus the NFL guys that you're going to face every week at this level? And that's going to decide, to me, how high he gets drafted. How you feel about him, though, Mark?
I liked Dalen Everett out of Georgia.
Okay.
So 4.38, 37.5-inch vertical, 10.4 broad jump. I think what you're talking about, Arthur, in terms of the ability to play outside, I thought he did himself some favors. And I know corners, the reason why we're talking about corners and the reason why the Steelers talked to so many corners at the draft was Sante Samuel Jr. is free agent along with James Pierre. So got JPJ on the outside. Brendan Eccles, we'll see. Do you want to roll with him again? But you're going to need some more depth if Pierre's gone, likely a bigger payday, and then what happens with Samuel. And this was a position group where the Steelers really had to kind of patch it up on the fly mid-season. Because first half of the year, their cornerback play was not good enough. Now, it got a heck of a lot better towards year's end, but this is a position where there's a reason why we're talking about receiver, corner, and quarterback, where I look at how the Steelers allotted their 45 interviews. Those were the position groups that they really focused on in this year's draft. And again, you've got a lot of talent there considering how these players performed at the combine in terms of, the just fast speeds that they ran with. And that to me is the thing that really stuck out, to where there's going to be different position groups that have more depth depending on the year's draft. I mean, some drafts are going to be better than others, but speed is not a question at all. And I just think Everett did himself a lot of favors with how he performed this past weekend in Indy.
Now, with that, though, we've seen, obviously, the Steelers spend a lot of time in terms of, we said, right, the 40-plus meetings. We said wide receiver. We said DBs. We said quarterback. In terms of first round, right, or first or second round targets, we'd be cool with it being one of those, though, in terms of QB, wide receiver, or DB, or how do we feel about that in terms of first 2 rounds? I know, TaNeisha, you was a little bit harder on it in terms of no QB first 3 rounds. What about wide receiver and DB, though? How do we feel about those potentially early on?
Yeah, I think wide receiver has to be first. And unless something happens, obviously, in free agency that we don't know right now. But to me, I think with that group of wide receivers, I think wide receiver should be first. And then I think you would go a corner, but maybe it kind of depends on who's available. Maybe it kind of depends on what the board looks like. Yeah. Because that's the other thing I'm thinking. Things get a little weird. One trade here, a little thing here, and before you realize it, you're like, wait, all 4 of these guys are still there? Yeah, give me Caleb Downs. Forget all that. How to draft I'm comfortable with it. Yeah, as long as it's not a quarterback. That's my biggest thing, where I don't feel like we should spend that high of capital on a quarterback, but that's just where I'm at.
I do think a quarterback would likely be a reach at that point. What I would say too, I mean, like Arthur, how do you see this? Honestly, TaNeisha, I think you hit it on the head there in terms of receivers, what you would want to do, but just depending on who's there. I mean, I've seen a few mocks. Lemon's the guy I'm looking at one of the mocks right now at 21, and I think you would say, hey, Aaron Rodgers, here you go. If you're coming back for another year, we got you a new weapon, a new toy, an explosive playmaker. I mean, someone who can take it the distance, can take it to the house, someone other than DK Metcalf. The lack of explosive players is something that the Steelers need to figure out offensively, and receiver would certainly help with that. I mean, running backs, another possibility. I personally like Love. I think he will go in the first round. I don't like first round running backs just in terms of position value, but receivers where I'd want to go to, but corner as well. And I think about corner from this standpoint too. JPJ is going to be coming up on his rookie deal. And remember, because he was a second rounder, and he's the very first pick of the second round.
Fifth option.
Correct. So his contract's going to be coming up sooner than you realize, even though he is like a de facto first round pick. But again, just contractually speaking, Steelers don't have that 5th-year option as they would if he were actually a first-round pick.
And look, forgive my excitement, man. That's the selfish player side in me. I hate the 5th-year option. We hate 5th-year option. We hate franchise tags, all right? Let the players go ahead and get that bag, man. Free negotiate, hit the open market, man. If you want me, pay me, all right? Don't hit me with that tag stuff, baby. Come on, man.
That's the old slogan of where yesterday's burdens become blessings in the rearview mirror of life.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. For me, when I think first round, it really starts with Aaron Rodgers. We can talk all this. I don't care about that quarterback. I like this receiver. I like that DB. But if our current depth chart reads Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, we're taking a quarterback in the first round. I don't care what y'all said, all right? we're
getting
or free agent or something. We're going to be addressing that before we do any of this other stuff that sounds really cool when we sit here right now. But that's just how I stand on it, because I'm like, I would be pissed if we take a receiver and we know that our quarterbacks are Mason Howard right now. I'm just like, I don't care which receiver we take. I'll be pissed. I'm like, no, y'all tripping. You better go grab somebody or go pay something in free agency. They say Kyler Murray about to get released. If you're not doing there's something out here that needs to be addressed. That's why I stand. Now,
Kyler.
Once we get past, once again, because if it's Mason and Will Howard, there is no way you're telling me that, yeah, man, that's just fine. We cool with, no, you're going to have to show me that can beat out the other options. But that's that. Now, once we get that situated, I would love wide receiver, DB, or pass rush. All right. I always, like I said, I can't never have enough pass rush and linebacker, inside or outside. Just give me that. All right. But DB is real, right? That's definitely real. And wide receiver, obviously, we've been hollering about that now for 2 going on 3 years now. Yeah. we just moved the chairs on the deck, and it was like, all right, we got rid of this yellow lounger for a blue lounger. All right. But you still need a yellow lounger to go with the blue lounger. All right. But hey, it's different now, okay? Ha ha. I'm like, nah, man, we still need this, okay? We need help. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And Calvin Austin's a free agent. That's the other part.
I'm speaking. That's a good point. I'm speaking either Aaron Rodgers or a free agent quarterback. I don't know where I got that from, but that's what I'm speaking moving forward.
Like,
until I hear otherwise. So for me, that's what's happening. So I've moved on, okay? Because that is where I need to be at this time, okay? Don't make me emotional. That is where I need to be at this time. Okay?
If Rodgers isn't the guy, and it's like, okay, Anthony Richardson or Kyler or Kirk Cousins.
Did you just say Anthony Richardson?
So now we start throwing out names. Now y'all see why I look at this draft and I'm like, you mean to tell me we ain't gonna talk to none of these? Are we too good for any of these dudes? No.
We're getting a free agent.
Something I like more than.
I can find. I'm gonna make a choice.
She get Kirk Cousins.
And then it's like, well, listen, Malik Willis, and the only reason why I would pick Malik Willis is we don't have a big enough sample size to know one way or another. We don't know.
We don't know.
I mean, know.
But we don't know from the college quarterbacks either. So if you
get him and you
Malik
is going to cost $20 million. Malik is going to cost 20. We're starting at 20 convo, right?
I would
that
think
to me is
with
the big
Malik.
Difference.
How much is Aaron Rodgers right now?
Rodgers cheaper. Yeah,
Rodgers made less than Justin Fields this last year for anyone taking account at home.
I'm just wondering how much the difference would be between Rodgers and Willis.
I think Willis will get a similar deal to what Fields got, where the first year is fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
The second year is decent money, but it's not quite as much as the first year. That's because
the problem
Fields
that you run into,
it was 2 for 40 with 30 guaranteed. Yeah.
The problem that you're going to run into, though, with Malik Willis, because he is the prime king this go around, he's going to have options. So the bidding wars, Steelers historically don't do bidding wars. And he's going to be one of those guys.
Negotiation tool.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's going to be the one where it's like a lot of teams are going to have, or teams that need quarterbacks, because like we're all saying, he's the one that at least you can make yourself feel the best about, right? Compared to all the other options. Multiple teams are going to want that.
Yeah.
So that's the thing where it's like, man,
I have to get familiar with Ty Simpson.
No,
TaNeisha,
what I am saying.
Hey.
TaNeisha.
You didn't like the Anthony, when he said Anthony Richardson, I seen how you reacted. I threw out Kyler Murray, that's going to cost. Kirk Cousins, that's going to cost.
TaNeisha,
it's like,
get ready for Mac Jones.
There you go. That's another option, right? Mac Jones. Yeah. So I'm looking at Mac Jones and I'm like, oh, yeah, man, I'm going to pay you how much? Because I got to pay you, right?
There's no Sam Darnold in this year's class. There's no Sam Darnold.
Oh, gosh. All right.
Sam
so
Darnold's a one-of-one. Sam Darnold is a one-of-one. I truly believe that. I do.
So I'm just going to go back to being delusional. We're getting somebody in free agency. I don't even know. I don't even care. Like,
you're hearing the names we're naming. We're naming the names. I'm like, which one are we going with? Because to me, once again, how are any of those options, when you throw in the cost that is associated with them, that much better than any of these drafted quarterbacks that we've been referring to? That's literally, that's TaNeisha, the whole time we started tonight's show, when you got to talking, I'm just like, I love it, but we're going to get to this part of the convo and I need to know. Lord have mercy.
I'm just going to ignore it. We're getting free. No.
Is Rodgers going to play for like...
Speak it.
Is Rodgers going to play again for like 17 mil though? Like, I mean, honestly,
He did it with a broke wrist last time, man, because he went a little extra on it. It's McCarthy. Maybe he's like, hey, bro, you know me. Thanks. On the back end for that last year in Green Bay, fool. You think I forgot?
Like I said,
I ain't forget about you.
Our biggest like reason for a lot of people that were like, I wanted to play with Coach Tomlin. Like I was willing to take a little bit less for Coach T.
And
I'm like,
you saw that in the report cards too of how the Steelers were graded in the NFLPA.
Isn't that insane? Insane.
What was it?
That's why I'm like,
the coaching was the
more
only
my
thing
brain is processing. I'm like,
the coaching is the only thing they got an A on.
Hey, Mark,
and our A is gone.
Mark, time out. Mark and TaNeisha, hold on, TaNeisha. You got a doctorate. You super smart. You went to school for a longer time to be here, Mark. When we start getting F minuses, what did that hey,
it's so bad.
It's
so bad. They added a minus.
I was like,
it's so bad. They were like, we need to let you all know how bad this actually was.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I feel bad about that one, man.
Yeah, not only did they fail, they got like a negative fail.
Yeah,
like that's a double fail. Yeah, just so bad. So that's why I'm like, well, who's gonna save us? Like, I mean, yeah. Woo. All right.
Arthur,
so,
we're hoping to a G the next time we do the
Anthony
report.
Richardson.
I'm just like, dude, man. When I saw it, I'm like, okay. I was feeling promised with Coach Tomlin, or the head coach. I was like, okay, yeah. Even special teams. It's like, all right, there we go. And it's like, oh, cafeteria decent. All right, there we go. And then of course it was like, as an alumni, right? You try to do this thing. You're like, all right, we're just gonna act like we didn't see the reports, and maybe if all of my other fellow alumni act like this, we could just one band, one sound as alumni, just casually just move on past it. It's the combine weekend. And I said, Lord Debo, Joe hated my guys. Talk about the bathrooms. And I was like, yo, instantly. Debo was like, yeah, bro. Debo was saying 5. I go in and I check the bottom. And then after that, I'm going up. And I'm like, I know Debo would always go up. So you know what I do? I check them same 5. I'm busting into the training room because we know it's 2 toilets in there. One is for the piss test guy. The other is just extra. So if you go to the double door, walk through, you get to the, all right, that was I'm like, yo, I'm going to get in here and that's mine. All right. Everybody had their little like spot, man. So they hear that, and I'm just like, we thought, it was so second nature. We never thought it, like Joe said. Joe was like, yo, it's Coach Tomlin, it's the coach, like, it's not supposed to be. Like, who cares? Like, I remember joking about from Buffalo where it was like in 2010, everything was digital. We iPads technology. I get to Pittsburgh in 2014, and it's like, here, take 1,000-sheet playbook. You're like, bruh, I don't even have a bag big enough for this, bro. Like, what? You got your wooden lockers. Hey, man, hey, we upgraded the wooden lockers to an outlet in that wooden locker. You're like, hey, bro, yeah. Because you was locked in, bro. So it's like, it is so funny. It's bad, but it is funny, like, because when you're in it, you're not, and you think what 14 through 8, like, we were kicking a lot of butt during that time. So when I tell you we weren't thinking about any of this stuff, it's like, bro, it is what it is. Like, we a football squad here. Man, I remember my wife holding my newborn baby out there in training camp, standing in the mud. We're like, man, I know in Buffalo we got like a whole family section of tents, private chefs, VIP carpet and everything in there, but this the Steelers, babe. Just take them shoes, take them nice shoes off, put them bummy ones on. All right, and you know what it is, okay? Pack the sunscreen, babe. Hopefully it don't rain today. Like, that's you just don't think of it. So for them to actually be calling, I'm like, all right, guys, y'all might be right. All right, I can see some.
I thought they were exaggerating
no,
with the 5 bathrooms, but
no, it's legit 5. And one's the handicap. One's the handicap one, and the old lineman beat you in there, and you be so hot because that's got all the leg room. The other one's just like, yo, you got, yeah, man, come on, bro. All right. You be like, God dang it. And then TaNeisha, shout out to my dog Pouncey. Pouncey would give dudes lectures because it's only 5 stalls in there. You better courtesy flush. You be like, yo, why are you sitting in here with it just smelling? Flush the toilet, bro. Like, what are you doing? I used to love it. I'm like, yo, shout out to Pouncey, bro. Shout out to my dog. He's like, yo, y'all not about to just be sitting in here just smelling it. Like, Courtesy fleshing.
He told this to other teammates that didn't know?
Man, what if you're sitting? Because once again, Mark, now granted, your 5 stalls are only like 20 yards away from the 10 showers. All right. So it's not, far away. Okay. It's not far away.
This is so terrible.
And you got like 3 sinks to like wash your hands in. All right. It's a unique setup. It's a real intimate setup. Okay. It's built for closeness. It's built for unity. Okay. That's how we look at it. We're a close-knit group. Okay. So you got to be close like that. All right. That's how we looked at it. Okay. We say, think of it. Okay. Shout out to Mr. Rudy. I was digging it. I'm like, yo, I don't complain. All right. The check was good. We kicked butt. All right. I ain't tripping. All right. I ain't tripping. But yeah. Even when we fly, you be like, you go to that plane, TaNeisha, and it was like, yo, this fire, this straight. Man, I remember I got to Arizona, TaNeisha, I hopped on that plane. I said, boy, this straight, like, I feel like I'm in the Mall of America on this plane. Like, God dang, this straight a double triple deck. I got first class seat all the way in the back. Boy, what is this?
Oh my
God. You got
God.
Wi-Fi on this plane too? What? I call mom right now, man. God dang. But in the moment, you don't think about it, man. You just be so locked in. So, unfortunately, shout out to my guys bringing it up. Shit, man. It was
well, now, do we have any free agents quarterbacks that are coming from a worse situation that might show up and be like, you know what? No, it's only 5 stalls, but that's okay because we're all getting Fs.
I started to feel like my overall confidence in our ability to elevate grade-wise decreased when I even saw Buffalo not have all A's, and I'm like, I've been to Buffalo facilities. Facilities are like, it's like college wise, like the stuff they got over there. So I'm like, if players aren't given that A, I'm like, oh Lord, we don't stand a chance. We don't stand a chance right now. With all due respect, y'all know me, all right. But
what does that say about Pittsburgh when Patrick Queen, shout out, he's the highest free agent contract player that the Steelers have signed? Yet, you know, you talk about all of the facilities that these top-notch colleges all over the country and where they train in the offseason and how Pittsburgh's going to try to build off the standard as the standard and the legacy of winning Super Bowls. And so how you go about achieving that, man, and it's that's where, I mean, it's part of what we're talking about the facilities, but we're talking about, we're still talking about the quarterback position and trying to get that right. And that's it's all interconnected is the point that I'm trying to make.
Not even just quarterback. It really boils down to culture, right? When we're talking about if you can overlook certain, you know, what others would perceive as being less than provided for. The thing that was my mantra, and even the guys that we shared the locker room with, you'd hear TG talk about we get to, right? It was never this feeling of we didn't have enough. We just knew that this was the most competitive professional football team out. And this is one of the most accomplished leaders in Coach Tomlin. And when you think of the history of this team, right? And it's like, man, I remember us in 2014, we were chasing the 2010 team because they were the last ones to go to a Super Bowl, right? And it's like, man, we have to get back. We have to be the next group that gets there. And it was like, we got close, right? AFC Championship. But it's like, man, you don't care about anything else. And in fact, you look at that as why we're different. Man, y'all cake eaters over there. Y'all got to have it super nice and air conditioned, climate control when y'all practice. Man, y'all got all these amenities when y'all travel. Man, y'all get, you know, everything handed to you. We hate y'all. We the type this, we want to beat you just because you got that type of stuff. And that was kind of our edge, right? Whereas when you start to get further removed from the success, the postseason success specifically, right? Because that's where you really feel like you're making headway, right? When you get further removed from that and then you start to take away a major piece like a Coach Tomlin, those are the questions that start to present going forward. Are guys still drawn to this solely for the sake of it being the Steelers? Or is this a new regime and that's going to have people saying, man, this isn't the same Steelers, like how we joke about Bama. Yeah, y'all the Crimson Tide, but y'all ain't the same Bama. Y'all ain't Roll Tide no more. Y'all just Crimson Tide. Like, we would agree, like, it's different right now. So I think that's going to be the unique part, this free agency, seeing how guys respond. Because like you said, TaNeisha, in the past, we could pay less to get more. A lot of guys that came over in free agency, even when my group, right? Mike Mitch's, the Darius, it's like, yo, dudes had more on the table elsewhere, but it's like, man, We know what Tomlin is. We know what this organization is, and we know the success that they breed. Right here, where we currently stand, this is a new era. This is a new chapter. So we're about to find out in what, 2 weeks? Free agency starts, was it March 11th, I think it is. We're going to find out how that impacts this new wave right here.
Well said, Arthur. Yeah, March 11th, which is time's flying here. And it's a crossroads, really. I mean, it's a new start with McCarthy. And then, again, a lot of this hinges on what Aaron Rodgers will decide. And I know the Steelers have said this outright, and I do think that they're spot on about this. And I hope that they actually enforce this, where if Rodgers wants to come back, great, fine, wonderful. But that decision needs to get made by Rodgers, or if not, the team needs to say, hey, if he doesn't, we don't have a decision by this date or this time for what we can offer him, then they have to figure some other things out. We can't go into May, June, July. Is he or isn't he, when it comes to Rodgers in the quarterback position, for where you want to go and where you want to build this team, not just for 2026, but even beyond that?
No.
Well, based off being ranked 32.
Yeah, girl, we got TaNeisha sick over here, Mark. TaNeisha's sick right now.
Based off, because I pulled the report cards and I'm like, oh, we're last. Okay. Based off being
TaNeisha's
32nd.
F minus, not an F plus, F minus.
No, I'm saying overall grade. Our overall rank was 32 out of 32 teams.
Yeah.
That's last. We were last. Okay. And then, of course, because why not? I just happened to look at where guys were coming from. Where do the Cardinals rank? Where do the Green Bay Packers rank? Where do the Colts rank? Yeah. They're not even in the 20s. Okay. Some of them are in the single digits and below. Yeah. So we might have to wait on Aaron Rodgers. Listen,
She said Aaron Rodgers or give us Carson Beck.
let me at this point.
Tell you, man.
I've been looking at this all wrong. Okay. I have been assuming, like when you're in a relationship with somebody, you're like, I know my partner got me. You know what I'm saying? So I know I'm good because like my partner got me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I've been looking at this. Like I've been saying things like I'm good because I know the Steelers got me, right? Because they're my partner. They don't got me. Okay. So now I need to reevaluate this free agency might make or break our season this year. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny because I mean, guys have to come and want to play for the Steelers because it's not only, you're no longer coming for Coach T. You're no longer coming for that. That's gone. It's out the window. I mean, thoughts and prayers. Like, I don't even know what to say.
So in the way
I have some confidence in Omar Khan, though. I do.
Well, I was gonna say this is why it impacts it though, with Omar Khan specifically. In the past, because of the culture, because of Coach Tomlin, man, maybe I don't have to overpay. That no longer becomes the case. So now you have to be a lot more intentional about who you decide to overpay for versus who you decide to say, man, if you're not willing to come here for X price, I can't go higher than this. That's not a conversation that we typically have had to have with Omar, right? Typically, it's like, yeah, man, these dudes are lining up. They want to come over here. So when you have that leverage, you don't always have to maximize the cost. And I speak from personal experience. Even with my negotiation, it was like, man, yeah, I took a little less to stay here because of the Tomlin part, because of the continuity. Would that have happened again if this is the offseason, right? Where my free agency is coming up in terms of the contract, right? It's like, man, I don't know if I'm jumping to come back here to take less to come back here, knowing that it's no longer Coach Tomlin here, knowing that there's still going to be a lot of change, but still some of the negative that was on that report card is still going to be here as well. It's like, yeah, man, I might want them extra 2 M's at the end of that thing. Man, maybe actually make it a third M, all right? Be a little greedy on the back end. So that's the part that we're going to find out with Omar and this free agency. Once again, how that impacts these dudes, man. But it's going to be interesting because we have to bring in new talent. We know that. I don't think any of us look at this roster and say, yeah, as is, we're good. No. With all due respect.
Yeah. We're the Texas Tech Red Raiders of the NFL. We're going to have to overpay because of our facilities. They overpay based on where they're located.
You have to sometimes, man.
Yeah, we're going to have to compensate somewhere. Okay.
You think about that's
all right.
That's part of the draw to Florida teams. Hey man, come down here. You got location, taxes as well, right? Yeah. That's part of the knock on California teams. You're like, bro, if I go out there, they're gonna tax the heck out of me. Same with New York teams. So it's like you think about some of that stuff with, especially free agency draft. You don't really have control over it. That free agency part, you absolutely think. That was one of the things I love going from Buffalo to Pittsburgh. It was like, man, I'm gonna make more money just because I'm not getting taxed the way I was getting taxed in New York. Thank the Lord. But those are certain things that players will consider. So just all of these things factor in. But like I said, it's gonna be interesting, man. We got a little bit over a week, man. A little bit over a week.
Arthur, can we do a quick story time when you were leaving Buffalo?
Talk to me.
How did you decide on Pittsburgh, or were there any other teams that were pursuing you?
Yeah, so for me, man, it came down to my final three: Cleveland, New England, and the Steelers. Cleveland, Mike Pettin, who was my defensive coordinator in Buffalo, had just became the head coach over there, took his whole staff, Jimmy, Dre, Anthony Weaver, all these dudes that are, or Jimmy Leonard hopping back on in terms of the coaching circuit now, right? Getting coaching spots. It was like, yeah, these were the dudes that I was about to go over there with and ultimately be one of the main people implementing that defense over there, right? Being one of the leaders for that. New England, they had money on the table too, and both of those deals were better than Pittsburgh. But once again, for me, I still was on my college mindset of, man, they're big boy rivals with Buffalo. I'm just in that moment, man, there wasn't a lot for me that wanted to go over there. That was just how I personally felt. Then you had Coach Tomlin. I'd never forget him calling my phone, yo, Moats, man. I remember you, man, from the 757, man, Party Town, P-Town, man. Shoot, I know you used to rush that passer like a dog, man, high school, college. I know up in Buffalo, they got you playing that linebacker. But you take a chance, man, come here for the vet minimum. I'm going to put you at outside linebacker. You compete, you beat these dudes out. We'll take care of you next offseason. And I'm looking at my pregnant wife at the time, or she was just had my baby at the time. And I'm like, whew, all right, babe. I know we got that little fresh little baby over there, right? Little fresh little thing, right? And I know we got a little old one too, right? But, okay, we're going to take less than what they offering over there and what they offering over there because I trust this man right here. And she looked at me. At first, you could see that, yo, you crazy. And then it was, you trust him like that? And I'm like, yeah. and when I tell you, I have only had casual conversations with Coach Tomlin throughout the process, right? Whether you're talking draft, whether you're talking Bills, Steelers playing a game, and I'm walking off the field, just catching them, talking with them in that space. It was like that. But every single time it was like, man, it was genuine. And you just could feel the connection. And he was always, hey, 757, man, hey, crib, home team. Like, oh, bet that. All right. So when he called my line, it's like, oh my God, like, yo, you're Coach Tomlin, like you're famous, So even as his players, we're like, yo, that's famous. Two people called me that offseason. They had me hyped. The first one was Drew Rosenhaus, and that made me switch my agents. And the next was Coach Tomlin. I was like, hey, babe, we're going to Pittsburgh. All right. It is what it is. And that's been being like excited, but at the same time, super nervous because it was, from my perspective, kind of janky the way that all went down because they were on owners' meetings. So I drive down to Pittsburgh. He's in Florida. We're talking on the phone, and it's like nobody here. I'm like, yo, what y'all got me here for, man? Y'all ain't even here. And he's like, dude, I promise this ain't how we do business, but I want you. Like, you're the guy that I'm prioritizing. So even though we're away right now, don't take this as disrespect. Take this as you're still that much of a priority. And that's ultimately, what got me to sign here. Now, once again, it wasn't perfect out the gate. In fact, it took about 2 months for it to really feel like this was a good decision. But after that, then it was like, oh, best decision ever. But that was ultimately how, I ultimately decided to come to Pittsburgh. Coach Tomlin was the reason. Like I said, because you're taking a pay cut, even in that sense. Because I remember in Buffalo, I mean, by then I had got to the varsity salary, where it's like that 7 digits. You'd be like, oh, I said, I got the varsity checks now, bro. I would upgraded the whip and everything. Mark, you know how I feel when you get that pay grade. I'm like, hey, bro, I didn't hit it. Had an escalator in the contract. It was like, oh, you balling out. Let's go. So to take the vet then, I'm like, hey, bro, it's a comma missing, bro. Like, what's this, man? But it worked out, and they did hold truth to their word that offseason, though.
I have 2 quick follow-ups from everything you said, Arthur. Yeah. What happened 2 months into where it clicked?
We were playing the Carolina Panthers, and Jarvis Jones broke his wrist. So then from there, they stopped playing just Jarvis and Jason Rose, and I actually got a chance to play some snaps. And I ended up getting a sack on Cam Newton 2 plays in, Ended up having a couple other tackles that game. And then from there, the rest was kind of history, man. Started playing from then on. We brought James Harrison back. But because of the production in that first game and every game after that, was like, yo, we're going to keep you out there. We're going to keep you in the rotation. And that was ultimately how I was able to have that season, which then got the contract and then, catapulted everything else. But that was what happened, because prior to that, I will never forget opening game versus the Cleveland Browns, the game where AB does the jump kick and hits the punter in the face. Man, I played 3 snaps on defense. I will never forget. And I was like, whoa, I'm coming from Buffalo, where worst case, it was 50% of the snaps. You know what I mean? I'm like, whoa. And this is, like I said, we just had the newborn. So it was a lot of, then you go to Baltimore week 2. It was like the short week. And I'm like, dang, I got like 6 snaps in this game. Like, hey, bro, what is this? Like, we ain't signed up for this, because as a player, man, a 1-year deal and you don't have a lot of production, your career is over. You're not getting another job. You're not getting paid anywhere else. So that's what you're thinking while you're looking at first grader and newborn, and you're like, oh boy, did we F this up, right? But injury happens, and that's why you got to stay ready, right? Because if you're pouting and you're complaining and you're, doing all the negative stuff, when that injury happens, you're not prepared because you're resenting, you're hating, you're pissed, you're jealous, whatever. Now you get out there, you get caught less than ready, and now you blow an opportunity that never comes again. Because like I said, we literally signed James Harrison. So if I don't make plays in that Panthers game, he's going to be the guy playing all them snaps with Jason Rose. And we probably never even hear having this podcast, because y'all like, who's Arthur Moats? We've never heard of this kid, right? So that was,
wow.
Well, because how everything played out.
Yeah,
but literally, and like I remember everything about that, man. Like I remember so much about that day. Like, God rest my mom's soul, but literally us sitting at lunch restaurant in Charlotte, and she's like, yo, why you got your playbook? Why you always studying right now? She's like, they ain't even played you for these first 2 games. Like, you don't be pissed off about that? I'm like, Mama, I don't care when they give me this opportunity. Whenever it does happen, they'll know not to take me off that field again. And I'll never forget, man, sitting in that restaurant. She looked at me like, you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And that game happens. I remember after that game, man, her hugging me outside the day, going Panther Stadium. She's like, boy, did you call it? Boy, I was like, yeah, I see why you did what you did right there. She's like, you did the celebration. You pointed. I'm like, yeah, Mama, I ain't surprised either. Like,
what's
that's the other part,
crazy
because everybody else was like surprised, the hype. And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm capable of. So like, that was that. But I remember so much about it. Like, it was one of the moments for me, man. Yeah.
Was that 2014 Carolina Panthers?
Yep.
And was that in September?
Yeah, it was like the third game of this year. We beat the heck out of them.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
I was at that game. That's funny. I need to check my records, see what I have.
Look, make sure you was at that game. It was a fun game, man. It was a fun game.
Because I wanted to go see Cam Newton. I remember that was the moment I was like, I needed to see how big. Like, because I saw him in college, but I was like, I need to really measure him up. And I was like, interesting. I love that. What a great story. Great question, Mark. You have another one?
Shout out to the homie Mark, man. Got me over here having to talk about myself a little bit. Y'all know I don't like do this, man. All right. I do not do this.
It's the best.
What's the story about the agent and Drew Rosenhaus?
Oh, man. So shout out to that, man. That was another fun one in the sense of season had just ended. And honestly, I didn't even know you could like switch agents, because I had never considered it. I'm just, when I tell you I'm like super loyal, it's like, man, once I lock in with you, I'm locked in with you. Good, bad, and different. We in here. So I had signed with the agent, and at the time it made sense because he specialized in kind of those mid-tier dudes, man, but he had a lot of connections, right? It was Joe Flacco's agent, Joe Lenta, right? So it's a lot of positives around him, and he did an excellent job pre-draft wise, right? He set me up getting everything I needed. But towards the back end of, my deal, I'm like, man, it was just like, yo, you distant. I don't really hear from you often, right? And we had a situation happen where I ended up getting fined my 4th year. I had a face mask penalty, right? And we're supposed to have an appeal. And he never like called me to set me up for anything. And I ended up losing the appeal. I lose like 15 racks, and I'm pissed. And I'm like, hey, bro. And I remember he sent me my bill later on that year, and I'm like, you didn't call me before this appeal situation. I lose the money. You don't call me after the appeal situation. And the only time I hear from you is when it's time for me to pay you my 3%. And I was hot. So I remember like being pissed, and I'm like, but I don't really know what to do. And I got this random call for a 305 number. And I'm like, who the heck is this? Yo, hello. Hey, man, this is Drew Rosenhaus, man. I'm like, Drew Rosenhaus? Like, hey, bro, you only work with like superstars. you're Mr. Show Me the Money. Like, what are you doing? How do you even know I exist? Like, God's honest truth. Like that. I remember I'm walking in my living room. I'm like, yo, this is Drew Freak. I kept looking up for like, is this really Drew? Like, is somebody pranking me? Like, what the? And he's like, yo, Arthur, man, I'm a big fan of what you do as a linebacker, man. Not only, you know, what you do on the field, but also your community service, what you do off the field. And he's like going down his list. And he's like, man, I would love to actually get a chance to meet you in person and present, you know, what I think we could get for you for agency wise if we were to represent you. And he's like, man, I'm going to be at the Super Bowl. If you're going to be down, I would love to have a meeting with you there. And I'm like, well, I actually am going to be down there because I was doing some stuff with the United Way. And he's like, yeah, man, let's do it. So me and the fam, man, I remember we go down there and it was funny. RIP. But they going Jesse Jackson was down there. So we bump into Jesse Jackson, take pictures with him. And then we're literally going to meet Drew Rosenhaus. And I'm like, yo, I felt like I was with the Who's Who. Like, it was McGahee over here. Like all these just stars, right? And I'm like, what the heck? And he's breaking down this profile of me. He's like, yo, man, you've done this, man. Year 1, year 2, year 3. These are some of the comps. This guy, man. All right, we saw him play like this, and man, he got something. And I'm like, yo, the fact that y'all have all this info, and it was a difference because he wasn't just talking stats. And that's the disconnect, right? When dudes come to you and talk stats, like, all right, cool, man. You research me, great, but you don't know me. You haven't studied me. And it's like he started talking certain football things, and I'm like, okay, this is different. And from there, I was just trying to be, you know, tough about it. I already knew I was siding when he called my phone the first time. But TaNeisha, I had to play hard to get TaNeisha, all right? I couldn't let him know he had me, okay? So I had to act real tough about it. And I was like, oh, word, like, this is dope. Wifey over here geeked out the whole time because she didn't already know that I'm geeked out from the time I got off the phone. I'm like, oh, my God, babe, Drew Rosenhaus call. Take a picture. I'm screenshotting this. Like, nobody's going to believe it, right? So we get done with the dinner or the little meeting and everything like that. We go back to the room, and literally the whole time, my wife, we just tried to play it cool. But we both are geeking because we're like, yo, we just see Jesse Jackson, we just see Will Spaghetti. I'm like, yo, this is Drew freaking Rosenhaus sitting across from, bro. So by the time we get back to the room, we're like, yeah, babe, we're gonna do this deal. She's like, yep, I already know it's gonna be happening. So I think we waited a week until we left the Super Bowl just to be like classy, you know. You could just take it from us on the first night. We ain't gonna just sign right away.
That's how you're supposed to be.
But after that, we decided it was the best decision ever. All right. Big Rosenhaus guy over here. Love Drew Rosenhaus. All right. That's awesome. Big time Drew guy over here, man. But yeah, that was ultimately how I ended up signing with Drew Rosenhaus, man. So shout out to the homie Drew, man. He's still killing it too, man. You talk about every year contract dollars and free agency, man. He is always, in them tops conversation, man. And that was, the thing that was really cool to have a legit like mega agent call you and be like, yo, I like what I see in you. So it was really validating as well.
I mean, that's one awesome. Of the names when you talked about sports agents. Drew Rosenhaus, put Lee Steinberg, the guy who Jerry Maguire's based off of. I'd put Scott Boras in that conversation from baseball too. That's an amazing story, Arthur. See, and this is why I ask these questions, because we're talking to a man who has sacked Cam Newton. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And it still feels
I didn't know these things, Arthur. These stories still feel weird talking about them, okay?
Right, because I think, too, like, he doesn't understand, like, it's cool for us, because we just hear these people's names. We just see their names crossed across our tickers, but, like, the experience is the stuff that I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I'm like locked in. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, it's so cool to hear stories about a world that you just hear about. You don't get to experience it. So it's
I'll
lovely
tell you
to
firsthand, though. It's even cooler when you're in it, though. Oh my God. Like, you try, at least for me. All right. I know some people are super cool, and I would tell them, I'm like, hey, yo, you cool. You're real cool. I'm not cool like you, bro. I get excited when I meet people. I get excited when it's the first time I get to see this dude, first time I get to compete against this guy. I'm like, it moves me. I'm like, yo, I don't take any of this for granted, man. So yeah, I feel like I soaked it in. I still don't feel like I soaked it in enough, because it was times where I just, TaNeisha, you know how you got to have a certain like decorum about you. I can't let them know like we're supposed to be peers, but I'm like, Sean Merriman, I was watching you like I grew up. Like I loved you, bro. Like what? I know you're my teammate and I'm supposed to act like this is normal, but you're Mr. Lights Out. Like, you know how many times I did this? You know how many times I did this? I would, TaNeisha, I would be in my meeting rooms and I'll be looking at the light switch tattoo on his arm. I'm like, oh, it's right right there. This
It's
is
really him.
crazy.
That's fair. I mean, I feel like people would be like that with Coach Tomlin too, where it's like he's my
TaNeisha,
coach, but like no, he's my coach. Like he
come
just
on,
talked
man.
to me. He said I sucked. Like I don't want him to ever say that to me again, but he actually watched me.
You see what I mean? Like it's certain words where it's like, yes, I don't care how everybody tries to make it sound like it. No, man, them dudes, like it's still certain ones you're famous to me. All right?
Yeah,
they might be cool. You're famous to me. All right, you're important to me. I'm gonna let you know that.
We're coming off Combine week. I've got one quick story. I don't think I've ever told on a pod before. So day 3 of the Combine and long day, quarterbacks, receivers, running backs workout. So that wraps up and I text Ike, be like, hey, I'll meet you back at the hotel. We'll record a quick pod of what we saw today and then we can go grab dinner. So we record the pod and we're coming down the stairs. And before I can even blink, I just see Ike start to talk with the guy wearing a 7-Eleven chain around his neck. It's like, wait a second. Before I could even blink, Jerry Rice is before us. And it's me, Ike Taylor, and Jerry Rice just standing in the lobby of the Conrad Hotel in downtown Indianapolis. And I got to dap up Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver that has ever lived. I haven't washed my hands since then, honest to God. Let's go. And it happened so quickly before you could even blink. And it's like, oh, there's Jerry Rice. You know, if you're putting together Mount Rushmore of greats of football, it's probably Jerry Rice, Jim Brown, Tom Brady, Lawrence Taylor. And it was just one of those things where, Arthur, when you say it, it's cooler when it actually happens to you.
Boy, man.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. His son, Brendan Rice, was working out. It's on the Chargers now. That's why he was in Indianapolis to see his son perform at the Combine. It's cool to see the next generation come on as well.
Thanks.
That's one of those ones, Arthur, when you say, when it's happening to you, it's like, I told people personally who I know that story, and they're like, did that really happen? I thought it was like a fever dream, man. It's unbelievable.
Dude, I dig it, man.
Unbelievable.
I love that. I love it. And like I said, man, I get it. Some people, they're really cool and they don't get moved like that. Shout out to y'all, all right? I'm not like that. I enjoy being excited. I enjoy being like, oh my God, that's such and such. Like, oh. Because I think even more so now too, because it's like, man, it feels like it's harder to get that feeling because you're like, how we talk about this casually, and you're like, y'all, let's say to me, man, that's not normal. And I'm like, yeah, but a lot of this does feel normal because you're just in it. But when you come across some of those ones where you're like, nah, bro, no, you're different, man. This is cool. Like, I like that, man.
That, and then when you look back of like, what would 12-year-old Mark or 12-year-old TaNeisha or 12-year-old Arthur be thinking about this situation right now? So it's like, that is not lost on me either when, you know, been lucky enough to have, just fortunate enough to be able to meet some really, really cool people doing this and just sharing your passion for the game. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
that's how I feel like when I do this podcast. I'm like, why does Arthur Moats want to talk to me every week? Like, what the hell are we talking about? Is he serious? And so I'm like, all right, sure. Like, and I know, like, the funny thing is every time I say this, he's always like, oh, stop it. I'm like, no, serious. Like,
man.
Like, it's,
you see, we're talking about like stars, okay?
No,
these are like important people.
But I think that depends on the level of value you place on certain people, right? It's just like happiness. Some people are happy just doing things, and you're like, oh, that makes you happy. I didn't realize that makes me happy. Yeah. And I think that sometimes too, like all of us have a role in somebody else's life where they would think the same thing about us, which is kind of cool. Because it's like, even like, I'm a nobody. When somebody's like, oh my gosh, you'll come talk to me. I'm like, of course I will. Like, I'm nobody. Like, it doesn't even matter. But that doesn't mean that other people don't see you differently. And so I think that's what makes it so cool is you understand the level of excitement because you know how you felt when you had like your experience. Absolutely, man. So yeah, I feel the same way. Like every week I'm like, I get to do a podcast. Woo, what are we talking about? Like, it's fun because it's like,
make sure that we keep doing it right there.
Yeah. And cause I grew up like, especially too, like, obviously I'm a woman. When I grew up, you know, a lot of women weren't in spaces like this. You know, it was only men. We had to always listen to men. And then when the women did show up, they had to almost be like the men. And it was kind of like, that's cool, but like she can't talk. And then we started getting pretty ladies in the center, but couldn't say anything. And so we've evolved to a point where it's like, I didn't grow up seeing this. There's little girls that are watching this that think that this is normal. Like, this is not normal. And so for me, it's like growing up in that space. I remember people used to be like, stop talking. No, why are you talking about football? Like, I was 10. They were like, shut, Lyra, why are you doing this? I was 16 and they're like, girl, let it go. And so for me, it's like, no, it does mean something because I didn't see this growing up. So for me, it's like, now it might not be Jerry Rice or whatever, but it's like, it's something I never saw as a child that I get to now do it. And other people get to see me and be like, oh, maybe I can talk sport. Like, oh, I can like football. It's okay. And it sounds very basic, but like, it's real, you know, there just wasn't a lot of women that were being themselves talking about sports.
Yeah.
And especially not football.
TaNeisha, I would say that in the technology, because it was always either TV or radio, or if you were a print nerd and could write well. And now it's like the internet allows it to be as long as it needs to be, so long as that you're entertaining. And honestly, as long as you're conveying enthusiasm and passion. And it's like, I always try to approach it where it's like, I use the acronym SOFA, where it's smart, original, funny, and authentic, where it's like, if we're achieving those things, we're doing a good job with this. But TaNeisha, I hear what you're saying with your perspective of women in the broadcasting space. I approach it from the technology wasn't there, because it's like, oh, well, we're up against commercial break, even if we're amid a great discussion. And it's like that was always an issue too, because I always loved listening to sports talk radio because it was so much more long form. TV, it's a great medium. It's very visual, but it has to be fast. And it's like the most that you're going to get on one topic or one story, minute and a half, maybe if you're lucky enough to have a 5-minute conversation, if it's a segment or if it's a discussion. With this can be as long as it needs to be. As long as it needs to be.
Yeah,
that's real.
And I think too, it's like just a reminder that you can just dream, you know, whatever it is. Like my dad sometimes would be like, I can't believe you're doing this. I'm like, I can't either, Dad. Like my dad, it was just like, because there's been so many times where he's just like, one day, and I'm like, no, Dad, I can't. I don't know. Women don't do that. I have to be on the sidelines. Like, I don't want to be on the sidelines. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. But yeah, so that's why it's cool hearing people's stories, because it's like what moves people. It could be something small or big, but we all have our different experiences. That's why it's so fun to hear other people's, because it's like, ooh, tell me about that. I want to understand that. That's fun. Like, that's exciting. So, yeah. And even now, like last week, I was like, you know, I need to get to the combine. I've been thinking about that since. I'm like, the fact that I'm even thinking about that is crazy, because it used to not be a thing. Like fans can't do these things, you know, like, no. So anyways, like, yeah. So it's just cool to hear different people's experiences and perspectives on what they deem cool and exciting.
Let's go. And look, I love how we went from our heavy critiques to also this very uplifting at the end. Shout out to y'all. Kudos. Okay. And I know that y'all enjoying this, the viewers, right? So since y'all know the drill, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, notification bell, ding, ding, ding as well.
For the culture.
Of course it's for the culture. You know, it's always for the culture now, Mark. You know this. But since we are on the back end of this thing, man, I was like, okay, y'all about to get a 2-hour special in here. Okay. So since we're on the back end of this thing, do we have any, well, I guess, Mark, you hit me with the ever today. Usually you got me with the hot, you know, you got me again. Do I got one? Oh, I ain't know.
Got you with the half-baked.
All right, there we go. Half-baked, you then?
I already kind of stepped on a little bit. The Steelers have 12 draft picks. That's going to kind of add up to be a lot of money. Can you be aggressive to move up to identify a prospect that you really like, of someone who can help this team? Quarterback, receiver, cornerback, pass rusher. Someone who can help the Pittsburgh Steelers. You've got 12 draft picks, including 3 in the 3rd round. Whether it's in the draft or maybe to go get that quarterback that you need, you have a lot of draft capital to work with. Utilize that, because I don't see you picking 12 new players across the board, because I know that you have them on cheap rookie contracts, but just knowing how all the contracts work out, 12 players seems like a lot of players to add. With the draft capital you have, can you be aggressive to either move up or to get a player that can help your team? That's my half-baked.
I would agree. Yes. I think you have to. I think it's when you got that many of these things, man, yes, we know some teams value these draft picks a lot more than others, but you have to find ways to use these to your advantage, man. And yeah, 12 picks it's no way you want 12 players in the draft. I just don't see that. That's a lot of
I need to see a Will Anderson, CJ Stroud, not so top draft pick situation, but that's how I want to see the picks play themselves out. Like whatever that looks like. Maybe we do that, but in the variation where we're picking 20, 15, 20 or whatever. But yeah, it's a great opportunity. I hope they use them and expend some of them and then get draft picks with some of them. I hope.
Yeah, I'm with you though. Don't draft 12. Don't use all 12 of them picks. Please don't. All right. Package this thing, move up. Okay. I'd rather use just 4 draft picks and use the other capital to like jump up somebody in the first round. I'd rather you do that. All right. Just did. Go
okay, so can I ask you if they did that? Okay, but if they did that and they moved up, what's the first name that comes to mind if they moved up?
I like Tate. It sounds so dumb. I like Tate's the first one. Go ahead, Arthur.
Is Aaron Rodgers on the roster or is he not on the roster before we start this conversation?
Yes.
Now we have a quarterback. Who is that quarterback? Who is that quarterback?
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Yeah. Okay, all right.
That's the world I'm living in. Okay. Tate's the first one that comes to mind, but maybe I need to do more homework.
You stop it right now.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You're not doing this correctly.
TaNeisha, thank you, TaNeisha.
Yes. This, okay, we have the quarterback situation taken care of. It's done.
I just laugh because I'm old enough to remember where just like a month ago, nobody was on this Aaron Rodgers train like this. All right, and now all of a sudden everybody's like, Rodgers is back. All right, Rodgers will be back. Rodgers will come back. I'm just like, I'd say that was his consensus. All right, so I'm sorry.
The highest. You know what they say? The best way to identify somebody with a high level of emotional intelligence is if they can change their mind. Okay, I am changing my mind. Okay, I am changing my mind. All right, I can change my mind.
No, with more information. I feel like the weirdo because I've been on since the season ended. I'm like Aaron Rodgers. I'm gonna wait for Aaron Rodgers.
Hang on. What's your number 2 then? If Rodgers either decided to leave in his own right, which he could do, or if he retired. Why are you saying
that out loud?
Yeah. I'm
curious as what your number 2. For me, I would consider Malik Willis and then maybe Simpson, but
I don't want to pay.
TaNeisha, I don't want to live in that world either. I'm not curious.
Paying for any free agents.
What are we doing?
I'm a curious man.
Simpson, I'm calling Ty Simpson up, and if not Ty Simpson, me personally, just like Sleepy Eyes, come in here and compete Rudolph and Will Howard, man. Come here and compete with them Sleepy Eyes, all right? I done seen you take 2 teams a real far away. Okay, Georgia, Miami, you was a lot of pressure on it both situations, but I seen you at least come in here and just muck it up a little bit, okay? Just muck it up, okay? Because other than that, what are my real legitimate options? Can I get Kyler Murray? Sure, but that's going to call about $30 million, all right? Can I go get Malik Willis? Sure. Bigger question mark going to call about $20 million. I'll go get Kirk Cousins. And I used to be a Kirk guy before that pendulum shifted of compensation slash what you cost versus your skill and age and all these other, and the Achilles, right? TaNeisha, his Achilles still ain't Achilles all the way back just yet, all right? It's Achilles-ish, okay? So I'm just like, so as I'm looking around my options, me and you both said Anthony Richardson, and me and you both had the same reaction. Okay? Yeah. But he can back for some people like that.
That's Arthur's roadmap. What say you? If again, Rodgers. I mean, I want to live in a world where Rodgers is the.
No, we are living in the world. Why haven't we get on board
until the contract is signed?
Because this is new. This wasn't we're on this board 3 weeks ago. Okay, so everybody is still trying to. Now we got to course correct, guys. Okay, some people course correct sooner. So it take a little while. Okay, but this is just.
I feel like I listed off the list of free agent names.
I know.
I listed out the free agent names, and that scared the absolute daylights out of both of you. And now we're back to where it's just like,
Mark,
all right.
Mark, I was never scared. I've been on the Rodgers kick because of this, because I know what we're looking at. I know what the options, and that's my thing. It's like we could turn our nose up at Rodgers, 3,900 passing, 28 touchdowns, 7 picks, 8 picks. But once again, we're not just comparing Rodgers to the top 5. We're comparing Rodgers to our legitimate options. That's what we compared him to. And I'm like, it's no way y'all looked at what Rodgers did last year. Was like, oh man, we gotta move on from this dude. Heck no. And these are the options? Oh, you crazy. Oh, not a chance, man. Not a chance.
This all goes back to Brett Rippon.
TaNeisha, it's your fault. Shut up. Who's Brett? Who's this Brett guy?
That's for the listeners and viewers who have been with us since day one. You'll understand what I mean by that. This all comes back to.
Shout out to Brett.
If that's the option,
oh man,
oh my God.
Hey Mark,
We're
you wild
so
for that
screwed.
one. Shout out to Mark, yo.
We're so got everyone buckle up, all right? Buckle up because we lost our A's. All right. Our A's are gone. Head coach gone. Special teams coordinator gone. Man. Okay. We still have the same treatment of families, home field advantage, locker room. Those are still F's. Team travel, team ownership. Some things aren't changing. So pray Aaron Rodgers wants to come back to his 5 stalls. Maybe somebody will give him his own stall, and then we'll be good. Because I don't really know what else to say.
Hey, TaNeisha, it be 90 heads in there in the spring, yo. It's 90 heads and 5 stalls, yo. It's real.
I don't know what else to
We can designate one of them for Rodgers. I'm cool with it.
whatever it takes. Our entire team depends.
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Oh man.
I don't
You're
care.
right. He needs his own stall. 90 heads, 5 stalls.
You know what?
He gets the big boy stall. Let him get the extra handicap
give him the stall upstairs. No, give him the training room one.
There it is.
Okay.
So that is his. Okay.
There it is.
So the 5 stays. Rodgers gets the other one. He's by himself. We know he likes that. Man. He likes to zen, right? So listen, because guys, that's what we got to do. Because without Rodgers, it gets a little scary. Now, if they get a free agent quarterback, obviously, it doesn't look as scary. It's still scary as hell because we don't know what that guy's going to do either. It does open up the draft a little bit. But if Rodgers is a no, and what? I mean, well, this is the point in the show where I'm just going to say thoughts and prayers. Because what in the world?
Shout out to Mark, man. Shout out to Mark.
What
Mark,
in the world?
I love you half big tonight. All right,
stalls.
Mark.
I'm pitching stalls on this show. Bathroom stalls.
Leave no stone unturned. Okay, whatever it takes.
Coach Tomlin is so proud of me.
Okay,
I'm like, hey, you want
that's the minutia. That's the minutia we're talking about. We got to find the winning edge. And I don't care what it looks like, or where it comes from. Okay, if that extra stall, that handicap stall with the extra leg room and the double decker toilet paper spot, so you'll never have to worry about running out. Hey yo, let me get some of that, bro. Yeah, man, come on now. All right,
we're in so much trouble.
Shout out, man.
Please. Now at this point, please, Aaron Rodgers. What are the stages where it's like you just start begging?
Before we go,
when's the last time a report came up that we talked to him?
Oh man,
do we know? Are we still in talks?
No, we've been talking. Yeah, it's been talks. We will see what that looks like as it evolves. But it's just funny though, man. In all seriousness, like as we continue talking about this, and I know we'll at some point this will come up again. But it's just like, man. You ever like when I watch some of these shows, they're like, yeah, that person's a victim. They don't know they're a victim. They're living in trauma. They don't know it. The more we talk, I'm like, was I living in some trauma? And I didn't realize it. Because 90 has the 5 bathrooms. That just does. The more I said, I keep repeating it because I'm like, most nothing about that sounds right. Nothing about that sounds like. Nothing about that sounds good. Jam. Like, but it was.
Can I just ask another question?
Jam.
Do the coaches have their own bathrooms in their office?
So they do, but part of what I was talking about with that training room situation, remember I said it's double door. Just, all right, okay.
You went through some things.
You might be infringing upon somebody else's secret space, but you know y'all in meetings upstairs, so somebody got to warm it up.
You definitely went through some things. Congratulations, you made it out of trauma. Congratulations.
I feel like I might have went through some things, and I just didn't know it. My bad. Whoops.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't think it was trauma when I was going through it. Me and my friends, me and my buddies, we get to. Joe Hayden, hey man, just happy to be part of a winning organization. You came from Cleveland, I came from Buffalo. We both said the same thing. Hey bro, I'm happy to be here. You happy to be here? Oh, this is great, Joe. Hey Joe, I like you too, Joe. Who cares about this stuff, Joe? We're winning. Winning matters way more than amenities. You know this. All right. Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Oof,
Oh man.
You probably have more than 5
So,
bathrooms
here we
in
are.
your house right now.
Yeah. You catch why I keep saying it because I'm like 5 for 90. I'm 5 for 5 right now. I might be 6 for 5, low key. Like, do we count the half or we count? It was all got to be full back because like we flirting with the 5. Like,
5 for 90 actually is insane when you actually think about it. 5 stalls. The Steelers. What are we doing, guys? Why are we not? Why?
And
Why?
TaNeisha, you remember this? I'm biased. I still get checks signed from the Steelers, okay? So I'm biased. All right? It's the most biased guy out. Yeah.
Wow.
You're like, all right, yeah. Okay.
Man.
Hey man,
All right.
maybe
listen, audience,
room
if
for
you've stayed with us
improvement.
for this point, we got down to the things that matter the most. Okay.
Yeah.
Without a quarterback, we're screwed. Okay. Full stop. Without Aaron Rodgers, we're in trouble. And we only have 5 stalls. That is actually a real thing. And good luck. I'm offering Aaron Rodgers a stall upstairs that I've never seen it, but Moats says there.
There are some nice stalls upstairs, but you got to know which ones they hit. All right, because I'm not gonna give all the. I'm not selling all the secrets because I know it's dudes in there that's like, yo, Moats, tell me, and like, no, just in case you never know. All right, but there are levels to the upstairs bathrooms. Just know that. All right.
Will you give Aaron Rodgers a secret if he decides to stay?
Look, I'll give him the upstairs and the downstairs secrets. All right, because it's multiple sections.
You see what I'm saying?
You just gotta know what to look at. Okay.
Yeah. We're in there, Mark. We're in there. Stay focused.
So there you have it. All right. So
Aaron, you heard it here first. We know he's watching.
Yes, he watches everything. So look, we've officially given y'all a 2-hour panel discussion today. All right. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed it. Mark, give me some final words, you Emmy Award winning dude. Come on, man. Y'all know you don't give a 90-to-5 bathroom ratio. I know that's not your style. All right. So what you got for me, Emmy Award winner?
Not exactly sure what that means, but Combine's over. Free agency here starts in a little less than 2 weeks by the time you're listening to this, where we'll know when players can agree to terms. It's going to be a lot of moving parts quickly. And what's going to be interesting is to see how Pittsburgh prioritizes free agency and then what needs are still left over when it comes to April's draft. So there's going to be a ton here. A lot of crossroads because you got a new head coach, what we're doing at quarterback. Then from there, we know the position groups that Pittsburgh needs help with. So that we're going to get some answers here in 2 weeks. And I'm really excited to talk about that with both of you once we get to like the eve of free agency and then free agency gets rolling. We're going to have a lot of fun here on the Arthur Moats Experience too. And Arthur, we're going to keep getting some more stories from you too, man. I know you're shy about it. You got to wipe yourself off. We get you a little bit of hot and bothered. I know that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But this is great perspective, and I can't wait to talk with both of you as we get free agency. It's like we're going to get a lot of questions answered that we have questions about, and I can't wait. I don't want to wish my life away, but I can't wait.
There it is. What you got for us, TaNeisha? Get us up out of here, doctor.
I think free agency is going to show us what they took away from the draft. I think if we see a lot of trades and a lot of weirdness and just a lot of movement, I think we're going to know what people took away from the draft or from the combine that they just saw. And so I'm very fascinated to see what happens in free agency because you can kind of see where people are trying to get in position to do, what draft picks people are willing to send away for whatever. And so I love looking at this is the business side, almost like the dark hours of where you're kind of figuring out who's going to do what. So I'm excited about that. And also I might have dreams tonight about the survey. So if you're like me and now your brain is like working overtime and you're kind of starting to think about some things that maybe you didn't have to think about before because you just knew you had a guy that was in charge that could take care of business. And now you don't really know what we got and you're just hoping and praying it's the same or it's similar or it's close and we don't lose out. I'm right there with you. So consider me confused. I don't know. So, yeah, I also am excited to just continue to talk about this so that these guys can make me even feel more confused as we move forward because now I'm worried. That's okay. That's okay.
Go.
That's what we're here for.
Let's go. Well, with that being the case, since I apparently have discovered that I was a part of some trauma in my life, I'm going to go and take some time to recover. Okay. I just didn't know that I was a part of a very traumatic experience during my time here in Pittsburgh. Okay. But I've learned that 90 guys in 5 bathrooms is not an appropriate ratio. Okay. And I should not feel comfortable with that. So I'm going to take some time to myself over these next couple of days to figure that out. All right. But other than that, hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this distinguished panel and these very spirited conversations. If you did, you know the drill. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. One time for the culture as well, all right? And before we go, y'all stay safe. Hug the ones you love, okay? Because they might have went through some trauma like myself, and we just not know it, all right? But either way, until next time, baby. Peace.
Bye.